Some things in life have a special quality. Binoculars by Zeiss. A car by Maserati. You find it in a lighter by DuPont. A watch by Omega. And in cigarettes by John Player's Special. Specially created by John Player to be the world's finest achievement in Virginia cigarettes. Some things in life have a special quality. John Player's Special.
Hey guys, this is the ArchieLuxury, the car show! The car show. How are you?
Awesome.
Ronnie Paul, I just wanted to have a chat with you because some of the other guys, they don't understand our talks.
Okay.
So, you know, by the way, I got some photos. Do you want to see some photos, Ronnie Paul?
Sure.
Okay, we got plastic. Plastic's just come in. Hey, Plastic.
Hey, how are you, man? You happy to have a guy that eats in his car on the show, or you going to kick me off, man?
Oh, I'm not so sure about that. I was going to show you
'Cause
some cars. So
I've got some themes for today as well. I'm just making my son breakfast. Do you mind if I
just
put
hang on
myself
here? Here we
mute?
go. That was my dad's Mercedes. That's the one I really loved, Ronnie Paul. I love that color.
So what was the year and around what time was this?
So
And how long did you have it?
2010. It was a 2010 car.
Okay.
It was a C250. It's a W204.
Right.
And he bought it. It was 5 years old. So 2015, he bought this.
Okay. How long did he
I
have
thought-
it for?
He had about 2 years.
How come he had it so short?
Basically, he wanted to test Mercedes. And
Okay.
he then decided to get a newer one.
So was there any issues with that one?
No.
They must have given him a good trade-in on it then.
No, because I sold it privately because the dealers are stealers, okay?
So is that the car in your opening intro video that
Yes.
you're backing up in?
Yes.
That's the one.
Yeah, that's the one.
Was it a V8?
No, it's only a turbo 4.
Turbo. It's and he wasn't having any issues with the turbo?
Nope.
No?
He loved it.
No, it's a nice looking car.
This was my Alfa Romeo with one of my sons. That
Hi,
son is now
Romeo.
25.
Did you say that you got into an accident with that car?
No,
No?
it was the Honda Accord that had the
Oh,
accident.
okay. Is that a black or is it a blue?
Blue, cosmic blue metallic. I loved that car.
Oh, so was it
Look at the wheels. Do you see how much love I had for this car?
Yeah,
or
there's no brake dust accumulated on it. No,
I absolutely loved that car.
So when you said it was blue metallic, so that was quite an expensive paint job because when they put metallic into it, they put metal flake.
That's the engine.
Valve. Nice.
That was the engine. Twin spark. So two spark plugs per cylinder.
And that was how many cylinders?
It was a 4-cylinder.
Four-cylinder?
4-cylinder. I really loved that car. Okay.
Wow. Nice.
I really loved that car.
Nice car.
And it didn't really
Archie,
love
I've just
me.
got to dial in, mate, on the laptop, buddy, and then we
No
can
worries,
talk
man.
cars. How's that sound?
That's cool.
Took
So
your
that
time.
was, I loved this car more than, I just loved it, okay? It was beautiful. I loved this car.
What year was it and through what years did you have it?
Okay, so this was a 2000.
Okay.
And we got it in 2000. Speak of the devil, here comes Kim. Hey, Kimmy, how are you?
Hey, Art, Ronnie,
Tim is
Paul, and guys, I'm sorry, I don't want to waste too much of your time. Let me just go outside
Yep.
here. One second.
No worries.
Art,
Yes.
I just wanted to say, what the doors won't open. Okay, here we go.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Arch.
Yes.
Okay. Here. Hey, man. How you doing?
Hey man, it's
Guys,
okay.
can I give you like 2 minutes summary of what the hell happened to me today?
What
You guys
happened?
want to hear the summary? You're not gonna
Sure.
freaking believe this. So the plan was to come to Philly
Yep.
and meet Roman, right?
Yep.
But Roman is Ukrainian and he's trying to save his fucking family in Ukraine
Yeah.
from the
Yeah.
Russian invasion, right?
Yep.
So he's not in the mood to have fun, get drinks, and talk watches, right? It's just
Yep.
that's fucked.
I
It's
understand.
the last thing you want to fucking want to talk about when your family
Yep.
is in danger. All right.
Yep.
So I'm like, okay, but I already made the promise. I already got the money. I got the super chat to come to
Yep.
Philly. So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go to Philly anyways. All right.
Yep.
So what do I do? I come to Philly. It's supposed to rain. I'm like, fuck, it's gonna be bad.
Yeah.
But I come anyways, right? I spend the day.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
hang out with people, and you know what? We go to this pub, Ryan's pub, and you know
Yep.
who we meet in Ryan's
Who's
pub?
there? Who?
The whole watch box, the whole watch box, every single employee, every 100 and basically 75 employees of Watchbox are in this pub today,
Was Tim Musso there?
except Tim Mosso. No.
Okay.
Yeah, he's the 76th
Okay.
employee. Yeah.
Okay.
But I got the leads, Arch. I got the leads. I got the
Okay.
contacts. I got their phone numbers. Do you understand? We got the leads. The leads, Arch. All right.
So we're all set to go to. We're going to go to England soon, aren't we?
We're going to England, and then when I
Okay.
come back, I'm gonna come to Philly again for a whole week. I'm gonna come
Okay.
back for a whole week.
Just
Hey,
quickly,
what's up,
super
guys?
chat, Pine Baron, $5. Love
Hey.
some car talk.
Yeah. all
Hey
right,
man,
sorry
I'll leave
for-
you to it.
Yeah.
Thank you
Yeah.
for coming on, Timmy. We love you.
Just a quick update. Love the community.
Okay.
Love the pontiff. Send your super chats. Now London is expensive,
Exactly.
guys. Come on.
Thank
Help
you.
out.
It's
Help
my
out.
wife's birthday. Thank you for the flowers. I got the flowers. That's another story I'll tell you about when you come on my show tomorrow.
Yeah,
See you later.
Yeah. Love you, Arch. Take care, everybody.
Bye. So basically, that Alfa Romeo, I own that from 2000. So it's a 2000 car. We had it from 2005 to 2007. 18 months of ownership. This was the Mercedes I was looking after.
Yeah. Right.
Okay, that was never mine. I had it for a couple of months.
Whose was it?
It was a guy I used to work for. It was his car.
Okay.
And even we went out in the family in that Alfa Romeo, the Alfa Romeo.
Sure.
And I love that car, you know?
Well, I'm taking a look at the pictures you're showing, they all look like they're in really good shape. Like, I mean,
That's how I had the engine in the
I mean,
Alfa Romeo.
You could eat off of that engine bay.
Yeah, that's how I like my cars, Ronnie Paul.
Did you clean it yourself, or did you take that in and they would detail?
It was always good. It was always good.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, it was always because it had when I got it, I had 30,000 miles on it. It wasn't not a high kilometer car. My first BMW, before I took delivery of it, I asked them if I could take a photo of the car. That was my E30 BMW.
Yes. Yeah, I remember seeing pictures of that before.
Okay. This is that car at the dealership. This is what the dealership looked like in the day.
What year was that? That was in the 90s, right?
That was 91, because this was the last of this model.
I was in high school. Well, we're the same age. So you were 16 or 17 when
19. It was a week before I turned 19. I was 18.
You were 18. So you were about a few months before me. Nice car.
And when I got married for my first wedding, I used that as the wedding car. Notice the bow?
Oh, yeah.
I then, before I sold, this is what the car looked like before I sold it. Notice I changed the alloys.
Oh, why was that?
Because the other ones were just wheel caps. This is the correct spec alloy for the car.
So you're saying those were just hubcaps and that was a full aluminum rim?
Yeah, so those there were just
hubcaps. Yeah, I know what you're saying. Nice.
They were just hubcaps.
Yeah, nice car.
And when I sold it, this is how it looked.
Mm-hmm.
I love that car, Ronnie Paul. I loved that car.
Sweet.
Between you and me, I really love my car. Just out of interest there, Plastic, I don't think he's a true enthusiast.
Well, you said he drives a Camry, right?
The Camry's a great car. I drive a Civic too. Don't ever put someone down for driving a Camry.
But typically it's like by then the car is an appliance.
Come on, guys, get the super chats. Otherwise, we're not going to have any more car talk. Let me tell you this.
Yeah.
I don't know how to tell you this. Can you please not get mad at me?
Okay.
Plastic allows his children to eat in the BMW X5.
Oh, I knew that he allowed them to eat in the Camry. I didn't know that they were eating in the BMW.
Yes, and they're allowed to have drinks.
Oh.
And you know what? Can I tell you something else too? If you don't he doesn't even have rubber mats in the BMW. He's got the cloth, the carpet mats.
Yeah. Well,
he doesn't have the rubber mats. Do you understand this? Can I say this to you? Before I picked up my BMW, I went through every accessory they had and said, do I want this or do I not want this?
Sure.
Here's Plastic.
There he is.
Hey.
Plastic. The community has spoken.
Yeah.
We want to talk to you about letting your children eat. Do you let your kids eat in the BMW?
Of course.
Why?
Because I love my children, man. And when we go on long trips, I don't want them to get hungry or thirsty. Because I love my kids, Archie.
So they're allowed to drink? Do you drink soft drink in the car?
Hey, did your wife get one of these?
It's a drop cloth.
What is it? Oh, Murder Spot.
She got it as a freebie.
Wow, that's great. I got some.
That's not a car cover, is it?
No, it's a
Oh,
coat.
it's a jacket. Just a jacket.
Tim Wright, $5. Here we go. $5. Archie, you must start doing car collection reviews. Guys, send your car collections for a review to the Pontiff now. That sounds like a great idea. And JT, $5. Thoughts on the divisive style of the BMW X4 coupe SUV? Yeah, that's kind of a weird line. That I like the 4 Series. Did you know, Ronnie Paul, the current 1 Series, that's the baby SUV, is the size of the original X3? Did you know that? They put on weight. And my BMW is the size of a 90s 5 Series. Did you know that?
Well, that's because everyone's getting bigger, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right. Plastic, we want to tell you this now. You got to tell the wife the kids are not allowed to eat in the car anymore and no drinking soft drinks or drinks in the vehicle.
Can you hear me, Archie?
Yeah, you're not allowed to. I honestly, he doesn't even wash his own car, Ronnie Paul.
Who does it?
What?
Who washes it?
He pays someone, but you got to do it yourself so you know every area of the paint, every area of the car. Do you understand or not?
That doesn't surprise me if he lets the kids eat and drink inside it.
We got
Doc. The Doc is on.
Hey, Doc.
Fellas?
How are you?
Hey.
I'm good. Can you hear me okay?
Doc, it's been so long, Doc.
Hey,
hey, Plastic. It's an honor to be on the show with you, man.
Archie.
You too, man.
Archie.
Yes.
Can you do me a favor?
Yes,
Can you identify a Mercedes-Benz for me?
Sure, bring it up. Please do.
Well, no, if you can bring it up.
Bring it up, Arch. Bring it up.
Do you know the movie Roadhouse? Do you know the movie Roadhouse?
Do I know the movie? Sorry, very quickly, I got to get this super chat. Hoff on Smash, $5 because Maguire's ain't cheap. $5. KC, hello, KC Aquatics.
KC in the Sunshine Band. Hello, buddy.
Hey, not too bad, KC. How are you? How's your Beamer? What
these
model
are
is it? Sorry,
great.
what's the movie called again? Give me the
Okay, so
movie. What's it
All
called?
right, so the movie is called Roadhouse, and it stars Patrick Swayze. It's from the
Oh, that's a
90s.
great movie. That's a great movie where he rips his throat out.
Mercedes.
Remember
Yeah,
that?
Oh, that's a
Yeah.
Can you pull it up?
that's a 560 SEC. It's telling me.
Is that a V8?
Let me get it up for you.
It's a
Actually-
four-door coupe. It looks awesome. If I
No,
could get one, I would get that.
Okay, what's this is called? This is called a W126.
Ooh, I like those.
You know who's got one?
No.
You know that guy who used to come on. What's his name? You know that guy who was friends with Don Haynes. What's his name? You know that guy. What's his name?
Oh, the guy in Asia.
No, he was married. He had the Chinese girlfriend. Remember, he went and lived in China for a while.
Right. I know who you're talking about. I'll think of it in
Yeah.
a moment.
Okay, this is called a W126. This is based on the S-Class, but it's a coupe. It's an S-Class
Matt.
coupe.
Is his name Matt?
Matt Stevens. Yes, Matty, film
so what is-
producer.
What
Hey,
are
Doc,
the-
do you wash your own car, Doc? Do you wash your own car?
I wash my own car and I wax my own car.
Ah!
Very good.
How
Thank you.
about this, Archie? How about this? Downstairs.
Archie, what are the
Okay.
specs on this vehicle?
Okay,
On
so
the
basically,
engine.
it's called a W126, right?
Okay.
The W126 was the S-Class coupe. They had a variety of engines. The 560, that size engine only went to Japan, Australia, and some other country.
So how'd they get it in America for the movie? I guess they must
Could have been a grey import, European, grey import or something.
But it was a left-hand drive.
Yeah.
They had a souped-up version even before there was AMG,
There
right?
was a 500 SEC as well. There's a 500 SEC, which you Americans got. There was the 380 SEC. I don't particularly like them, Ronnie Paul.
You don't like this car?
I don't like the way they've put the non-Mercedes wheels on it. Okay, I don't like that. I want to
Oh,
keep
you
it
can put
stock.
wheels on it.
Listen,
I
Archie,
don't approve. I'm saying to you, I don't like this. Okay,
Archie,
they butch. Look, I don't.
You can
like
always
it, okay?
change
I
the
don't like
wheels.
it. I don't like the wheels.
Archie, have you seen the movie?
No, I haven't.
Do yourself a favor and watch it. It's awesome.
Let me show you what it looks like. So a Mercedes W126 560 SEC. I'm going to show you what it probably. That's what it's supposed to look like. That's the wheels it's supposed to have. Do you understand?
Oh, you can always swap that, like Doc said.
You can always bring it back to factory anytime you
They
want.
only had 300 brake horsepower. They weren't that amazing.
Now there's
for the time, they were good. They were good for their time.
But look at it. It says 300 horsepower.
pull up the AMG version.
Just
Archie,
1 minute.
mine
Pine
must-
Barren, $5. How reliable is a 1986 560 SL? Now, Pine Barren, that's going to be dependent on how many kilometers, how has it been treated, how has it been
Yes.
serviced, what's its accident history, etc., etc.
Archie,
If it's a minty one, look, it's a 30-plus-year-old car. So you're going to have certain amount of
Yeah, but hold on.
requirements.
but wait a minute. There was no plastic in the engine. So that was a solid, what was it, an aluminum engine or was it cast iron?
Don't remember.
They were aluminum heads.
But it was a cast iron engine. So you could refurbish it. You could rebuild that engine.
You can.
Do
They're
me a
very
favor,
collectible.
man.
Here.
Pull up the
KC
560
Aquatics.
AMG.
Okay, I'll do that for Doc, just for Doc, because I don't particularly like the AMG.
What?
Okay, that's the AMG. Okay.
You're kidding.
Oh, that came with a skirt package of some kind, eh?
Yes.
Yeah, a couple other things too. This is what they look like, pimped out.
Was that like a California special or something like that?
No, that's just
No,
the
no,
AMG. It's
AMG.
got the box fenders. It was competing with the M3.
Archie, was that a souped up version or was that factory?
And you know what? They also did this.
factory
the
AMG.
You
It's
know
a
what they did?
6.0 engine. That's
Looks
6.0.
Also did an AMG 560 SL. Did you know that? This is a 560 SL.
Not as attractive.
That's Sovron's car, isn't it? Is that Sov's, Archie?
No, he doesn't have an AMG. He's got a 380 SL.
Hey, Archie, how come you were looking at Beamers in 91 and not looking at these?
Okay, for starters, these were a fuckload more expensive.
So how much was that going for in 91? What were you looking at?
200,000, 180,000.
It was.
Ronnie, are you familiar with the Archie of 91? He was the whiz kid. He just got out of school.
Look,
Yeah,
my car was a 4-cylinder. Okay, to put it in perspective,
He was a
Mercedes-Benz
schoolboy, Ronnie
released.
Paul. Basically,
They
a schoolboy.
released in '92. They released a car called the 180E. It was a poverty spec 190E, and that car was $44,000. That was a lot of money in 1992. Interest rates were 20% for a car loan.
How much was the
loan
whiz kid making
16.
back then, Archie?
Yeah, but I fumbled later in my life. Okay, my life hasn't all been
Blame it
beer
on,
and Skittles.
blame
But
it on
what
the
I'm trying to
Xbox.
say to you is, Casey Aquatic,
Would you like to go
sorry,
back to my
Arch,
room for a little
headphones acting up.
fumbles?
Headphones acting up, can't join. It's okay, man. We love you. I got to tell you, I think the community, the car community here, I want to banish Plastic for letting his kids drink in the car, letting his kids eat in the car, and not washing the car. Doc, I want to talk to you. You're a professional. You're a doc. What do you
Well,
think of a
if
man
a
who doesn't
chiropractor's
clean
a
his own
professional.
car? What do you think of a man who doesn't clean his own car?
Oh, that's a man who doesn't care. He doesn't want to live anymore. I mean,
What
come
do you
on.
think of a man who lets other people eat food and drink beverages in his car? What do you think of that? Please tell me. Please,
Be
please
honest,
tell
Doc,
me what you think.
I can take
He's
it,
just
Doc.
being he's beaten up, you know. They're always testing you. The women are testing you, the children are testing you,
But
everyone's testing you.
see, he makes this statement, the ridiculous statement. Oh, I don't want them to miss out on food. Yeah, I didn't say you're going to starve your children. All I said was
Oh,
they can't fucking eat
It's
when
just
they're
not in the car.
the fucking car. Okay?
that's it. That's it.
I didn't say you don't feed them. I didn't say you don't give them, you don't take care of them. What I said is they don't fucking eat. Do they have to stuff themselves every fucking minute of the day?
And the women who have always wanted to eat in my car will say, "It's okay. I'm not going to drop anything." Yeah, right.
It's the bits down the side of the doors that really get you between the seat and the console as well. That's where all the crumbs go and all the sticky bits of Coke. Hey,
I
Archie,
always say you're not going to drop anything because you're not going to test it. You don't get to eat in here.
But why do you need to eat in the car? I don't understand. Why do you honestly need to eat in the car? Why? For number one, you shouldn't be snacking between meals, okay?
says,
Hey, number one.
says Archie.
And number two, right?
Archie, if you're 50 kilos lighter, I'll take the advice, buddy.
He's looking up to see if there's lightning coming.
No, he's looking for a leak. He's looking for a leak.
Water
He's got
leaks.
leaks.
Water leaks. Yeah,
He's got
everything
water
is
leaks.
so water drenched at the moment.
Archie, you should be doing these auto talks from your vehicle.
Archie, can I just say Doc's got a good point, what he said earlier.
What
It
was
is
that?
a bit of the case of at some level, yeah, I've given up. Yep, I guess I've given up. The car is there. It's a pretty car. It's a beautiful set of wheels. I get the mandatory servicing done, but above and beyond, hey, it's just a means of transport. You know what I mean, Doc?
How many of your children are girls and how many are boys?
3 boys.
They're
mate.
all boys. 3
boys.
boys.
And all of them want to eat in the car.
Mate, they go to footy training in the car, so they come out of, if it's wet, they jump in the car covered in grass and mud and stuff like that. So what's a bit of food scraps and a little
See,
bit of
the problem
see,
is
this is
they're
the
supposed to
class
go on
divide. See, my kids. Let me just say this to you. My kids, we never did footy. In fact, we did. They had piano lessons, instrument lessons. They weren't
Chess.
fucking They weren't learning how to fucking mug each other in the car park. You know,
I don't understand. When I was a kid, and if you got dirt in your dad's car when I was a kid, you got a spanking out of that.
Yeah, I just think it doesn't really bother me, Doc. You know, it doesn't really bother me. It's like my Rolex. You know, like Archie, he won't wear his Rolex in the ocean or rock climbing. You know, I wear mine everywhere, man.
When was the last time Archie went rock climbing? I just want to know.
I want to ask you this there, Ronnie Paul. What would you say if someone wants to eat in your car?
Well, I kind of set that rule with.
How do you politely tell them this?
There's no polite way about it. I just
it's not polite.
No food in the car. That's it. And I told you that one ex-girlfriend of mine didn't give a shit and got upset at me, and she just started snacking on corn nuts. And sure enough, the side of my eye, I look over, and she was already looking between the seats because she had dropped some.
So that was a deal breaker when she was snacking on the nuts.
Well, I mean, I was indeed about a year later. I was no longer dating her.
I would have thought she'd be a keeper, mate, if she liked snacking on the nuts.
And when I started vacuuming in the car, I found all those little corn chips that she dropped all over the floor.
I got one for you, Ronnie Paul. I did something like this when I was with this chick at Yosemite, and she wants to eat in the car. This was in my Porsche. She wants to eat in the car. I'm saying no. She's refusing to listen to me, so I drove off. I left her with like munching on potato chips or whatever the hell it was. And then I just drove around the block, and I came back. I said, "You want to try it again?"
What did she say?
Wow.
Nice.
She's in Yosemite Park. I don't know if this is a national park in California, which means that she's about 3 or 4 hours away from wherever she wants to be. So I'm like, "You want to try it again?"
Archie, did you grow up with your dad letting you eat in the car?
Oh,
No.
that's a good question. No, we
Because our
were
family never
allowed
gave
to
a
eat
shit.
in the
We
car.
never cared. Yeah, we never cared.
You were allowed to eat in the car?
See, no, let me explain it to you.
I was
Because
a child, yeah.
we had a company car, see, so it wasn't our good car. We weren't allowed to eat in. Do you understand? But the company, it's like a rental.
yeah.
It's like you know what I'm saying? So
See, my mom had
I
a car.
bit of-
My dad had a truck. You could eat in a truck because it was an old beat-up pickup truck. So you could eat in the truck.
So if
Couldn't
you
eat
had a
in the
pickup
car.
truck, Doc, you could eat. You let your friends eat in the car if you had a pickup truck.
No,
Well, why do
I'd
they
let
have
them
to
eat in the pickup truck.
Why do you eat
That's
when
what
you go to the
I'm saying.
toilet? Can I ask you this? Do you eat when you go to the fucking toilet?
Being in the toilet is where you take a crap. Last time I remembered, I've never taken a crap in a car.
Why do you have to eat everywhere constantly? Are you a refugee? Are you a concentration camp survivor? You have to be constantly putting food in your
Archie,
mouth.
unlike you,
Maybe
I
this
don't
might be
sit
why.
in an office all day streaming and getting paid for it. I have to travel, right? Kids have to go to school, right? In between, they get hungry. On the way home, we get hungry. We eat, we drink. That's what cup holders are for in cars, mate. You know this.
First of all, they should be banned.
What's that, cup holders?
Yes, right.
There's no need to have cup holders in a good car.
They
Well,
don't
they don't
belong
do
in a
shit.
nice car.
Well, they don't do ashtrays anymore, which is a good
Exactly.
thing.
Correct. Same reason.
Ashtrays and cup holders should
How about
be
this? I'll
banned.
do you a deal. When they ban the cup holder, there'll be no more eating or drinking in the car. How's that sound?
Now the cup holders are for the third or fourth owner to use. Do you understand?
The cup
Like, let
holders
me
are
explain
for
it to
weak
you.
Americans.
Let me
Weak
explain it to
Americans.
you. When you go through a drive-through, I don't know if you know this, Plastic, but us BMW drivers, we've got to have classical music and opera playing when we go for the drive-through.
Not ArchieLuxury playing on the Bluetooth.
No, I'm just telling you the truth. This is what you got to do. When you go through the drive-through in a BMW, you've got to have classical music or opera. So they think that's what makes you successful, so that you get them turned on to opera. Ronnie Paul, this is how it works. These are the rules. Ronnie Paul.
What sort of car does Ronnie drive? Ronnie
Paul's
what sort of
got
car
a
do you drive,
Dodge Hellcat.
He's got a
No,
muscle
it's
car.
Dodge Challenger RT. It's a 2010. V8
It's an amazing
engine, V8
car.
Hemi, 376 horsepower.
And by the way, a
It's
Challenger
manual.
looks way better than a Charger. Charger looks crap. Sorry.
I got to
for
tell you
anybody who
this,
has a Charger.
guys. I think, Plastic, you need to start understanding the thing about car care. What sort of shampoo would you use? Can I ask you that? If you've never actually washed, do you have car shampoo at home?
He's the kind who would be using dishwasher soap.
Yes.
It gets detailed every 3 months. How's that
Yeah, but
sound?
you're getting it detailed, but they recycle the water. They don't take care.
They do it at home. They use the water we have at home.
And,
So
and
they come
what
to our
products
house.
they use? What's the shampoos they use?
Wouldn't have a clue, mate. That's not my
See,
job.
You've got to know that you got to. I reckon you're much better off to do this stuff yourself, Ronnie Paul. What do you think?
Well, I mean, he sounds to me like he's pressed for time. He's got 3 young kids, right?
It
So
sounds
that's-
like he doesn't give a shit. There's no
Exactly.
point buying it.
I'm not sitting at home, man, all day streaming and gorging myself in an office. I have to work, right? So when I get to grab a snack on the way home, I'll grab something and eat it in the car. Okay?
You shouldn't be eating snack food in the car. I mean, you have 3 meals a day. Do you have to constantly be shoving food into your mouth? I've seen the size of you.
How long
Okay.
does it take to
I
drive
weigh
home?
less than you, Archibald.
How much
And
do
you
you weigh
know.
now? How much do you weigh?
That's between me and the scales, but I know it's less than you because you say what you weigh.
I'm gonna guess. 200. No, not 200. Well, yeah,
You mean-
210.
You mean
210
pounds, don't you? Pounds?
Yeah.
We use kilograms.
Well, I'm trying to figure out kilos. Jeez.
Yeah, that's I'm actually working towards 210 pounds, to be honest. That's a goal weight, okay? Let me say this to you, Ronnie Paul. What do you think of a man who doesn't wash his own car?
I don't know. I like I said, when I hear his story, it's
Let's run a poll, Archie. Put a poll up.
busy.
How many viewers wash their own car? Let's run a poll.
I'll run a poll. Let's run a poll.
Let's do it.
Okay,
Hey,
I'm just going to do it.
Archie,
Gotta tell you, yes.
can you tell us since you've bought the brand new car,
Yes.
what is the typical thing that happens? Like, how do you prep the kids when you're about to go for a ride somewhere?
Stay home.
You got to make them go to the toilet first, Ronnie Paul. First thing is go to the bathroom. You don't hop in the you don't hop in the car.
Okay,
for
let
a
me
long
just
trip.
explain this to you. Okay. I've got a poll going now. Now let's just quickly get back to this here. Ronnie Paul. How do I prep the car? It's simple. So we're going some
Prep the kids, right? Like, I know that you're.
Oh no, my kids are 15 and 16. They're virtually adults.
Oh, so they're respectful. They're respectful of the vehicle then.
Yes, and I
Well-
got the rubber mats. We got the rubber mats. And they've already been told you don't close the door on the pillar. You use the handle because the pillars are black, and that'll. Okay.
You close the door how?
You use the handles.
You don't have children, do you?
No.
Okay.
Children
also
do not
showed-
use the handle. Why would they do that?
And I've also showed them they got to use the randell to close the boot.
What?
You know the randell, that's the badge.
In
And
other
I've
words,
explained to them what the
instead of just putting their
Hof-
hands on the
the
paint, to close
Hofmeister
it.
the Hofmeister kink is. Do you know what a Hofmeister kink is, Doc?
Oh, sure. That's the that.
Don't
that's
say
the-
anything. Don't say anything. I'm just
Oh.
checking. Plastic. Do you know what a Hofmeister kink is?
Wouldn't have a clue,
famous.
buddy. Wouldn't have a clue, mate.
Ronnie
So
Paul,
you're
do you
not
know
into
what a Hofmeister
BMWs?
kink is?
No, it's my wife's car. I'm just on here to help fill up the panels.
Ronnie Paul, Hofmeister kink.
Don't know what that is. I've never heard of that
On
product.
BMWs, it's
So
it's to
on a
do with the
BMW. Oh, sorry. I thought
Explain,
you
Doc.
wanted me to
Explain.
answer it.
You explain, Buck. Explain.
On a BMW, at the rear door, it's usually the door. It's usually a 4-door. Normally, you would see the window slope downward, and then it slopes downward at the C pillar, and then it reaches the horizontal line of the car. But the Hofmeister, they took that line, and they slightly, at the end of it, they slightly move it forward. So you'll see it rounding its way forward before it reaches the horizontal line of the car. It creates a slightly different window than every other car out there. And it stands out as a BMW because it has that small little
I think it might be a
curve.
better idea if I bring up a photo.
I think I know what you're saying. You're saying so on the back door, there's that small little quarter window. That's what you're talking about. That separate piece.
Well, not just that it's a quarter window, but it can be a quarter window or not. But the fact that it's got a curve to it.
Do you guys know anything about cars?
Here we go. There we go, Ronnie Paul.
So
see that
it's got that slight curve to it.
So you can you
come on, Ronnie? What sort of a car expert are you, buddy? Come on, man.
Dude, the last time I saw something like that on an American car was a Ford Maverick from 1969.
American cars don't have it unless they've been copying the BMW.
They used to have it back in 69.
I don't think so.
Didn't even the Ford Mustang, the Shelby Mustangs in 67 and 68 have something like that?
No.
Archie, how about this? Listen to this, Archie. When it finds out, when the sun comes out, if the majority of the questions come back that people do wash their own cars, I will invite you to come around here to my house. You and you can teach me how to wash and wax my car. How's that sound? All right, so that would be much.
How to wash my car.
How's that sound, Archie?
Now, let me just explain to you. Another thing is, I wanted to talk to the panel here, Ronnie Paul. So I've got some. I bought these. These are the bucket.
That's fine. I understand. That's so that when you reach into the.
So
bucket,
I got two because I got the clean water and I got for the normal.
Yeah.
So you need two.
It's
you
clean
can't
and rinse.
You need two.
Yeah,
clean and rinse.
You got one of those, Doc?
I do that. Don't you?
Sure.
Do that?
I got special glass cleaner.
Yeah, that's fine.
You do clean and rinse plastic so that when you're washing the car, as you're picking up grime off the car, you want to put it in a rinse to get rid of that grime before you put it back in the soap.
You said that's a bit harsh, that wheel cleaner.
That's abrasive. There's an acidic compound in it, so that if your brake dust is baked on, it's supposed to help it come off.
Yeah.
But the problem is that it helps the paint come off your car.
Yeah, it destroys the clear coat on your rims.
Oh, you don't put that on, man. You'll wreck your clear coat. Can't have that, mate.
I got a whole stack of microcloths, okay?
Well, that's a good move, yes.
Not only that, but people usually are victims of their overspray. When they're spraying it on the wheels, they're not thinking, oh, if it gets on my car paint, it's also going to mess that up.
Doc and Ronnie, if I get my car ceramic coated, the Beamer, does that mean I'll never have to wash or wax it again?
No, in fact, what they say is actually the upkeep has to actually be increased. They say that just because you have the clear coat, you should still be washing it like every weekend or something, because that's just how it's all set up.
So that's potentially more work.
Yes.
I'll pass on that.
Like what it'll do is you won't have to wax it anymore, but you'll still have to keep it clean.
Weekends are for relaxing, not for working.
What happens if you don't look after it? What'll happen then? What's the downside of that?
I think the dirt and grime might adhere to the surface and may cause scratching and swirls.
Who is Metalbug 999? You got to show your face, Metalbug, so I can see you before I let you on.
Who do you think you are? One of us?
No. Listen, Metalbug's one of the Marcelo time loyalists.
Hey guys, how's it going?
What sort of car do you have? We're in a car club here. Which car do you have?
Well, right now I'm leasing a Jeep.
Jeep.
A Trailhawk.
What exciting cars have you owned in your life?
Quite a few. Had a Mercedes C240.
Oh, that's a great car. The 6-cylinder. The C240 was the small six.
Now we're talking.
Bug, do you eat or drink in the car?
I do not know.
Did you ever wash the car yourself?
Oh, I do in the summertime.
What do you think of people who let their kids eat and drink in their car?
Be honest now, Bug.
If it's a daily beater, it's not a big deal.
But say expensive X5, that's $100,000 vehicle. What would you say?
I mean, if it's something dry, it's not a big deal.
No, but you know, everything, soft drinks.
There you go. Not a big deal.
Candy and
Thank you,
nuts
bud.
and-
Appreciate
Everything's dry eventually.
I mean, I want to eat French fries in it.
it. Oh, you know you can still eat a French fry even after it's been under the seat for 2 years. Did you know that? It's a known fact.
If it's
Yeah.
McDonald's,
If it's
Yeah,
McDonald's,
it's the same. It doesn't change.
they
Look,
don't
guys,
even
I
have to
wanna
put
say-
those things in a refrigerator in McDonald's.
So, guys,
Exactly.
let me ask you this: if it's raining, could I technically wash the car if I wanted to get the dirt and dust off it, or not? Or that's no good because it's not going to dry properly.
So this is how it is, Archie. When you use the water from your hose, that's hard
Yeah.
water. That's hard
Yeah.
water. So there's calcium inside it, and that's
Yeah.
why you get water spots on the car. Now,
Yeah.
if you wash the car and rinse it, and then there's a downpour,
Yeah.
the water that's coming from the sky is soft water, and
Yeah.
after it dries up, it really shouldn't leave any water spots as long as there is, as long as there's no breeze that might pick up some dirt or dust.
But
and-
Ronnie, what if you shampoo or you use your chamois to get all the wet spots
Yeah.
off? Wouldn't
Well,
that
that's-
negate that then?
Yeah, that'll work too. That you get rid of, and it'll prevent the water spots.
1 point for plastic.
Archie's
One
not
point,
going to do that.
1 point for plastic. How's that poll going, Palmer?
So I could wash the car now. I could wash even though it's raining today, I could wash the car.
Yeah.
The problem is I normally take it around the block just to get the.
Oh no. Because now what you're doing is you're going to kick up all of that, all of
splashing
the road dirt.
mud.
Yeah, dirt. That's crazy talk. That's
You'll be-
crazy talk, Palmer.
Yeah, and you would be surprised how dirty the back end of your car gets after a ride like that.
So what would you do then? You just wash it and put it in the garage.
Get under the car and blot it with cotton buds. That's what you got to do.
What would you do, Ronnie Paul?
Wash it, use your chamois to dry it down, and then put it in the garage.
Or
Then what you
there's
should
an
do is-
option. Don't wash it when it's raining.
Or when you wash it, you should wash it outside, but then roll it, drive it into the garage and then chamois it in the garage. That way you don't get any dust blowing around.
What do you
He's
think
got a
of that
small
idea?
garage, Ronnie. He's got a small garage. You wouldn't be able to fit around the side of the
Oh,
car.
you wouldn't
mate.
be able to squeeze in between the car and
No.
the wall.
No,
I
he wouldn't
can.
be
I
able to.
can. I can. I can.
Fuck.
No, mate.
I
Maybe not
can.
you.
I've done it
Maybe you-
before.
You're not supposed to touch the car when you're squeezing around it.
Now
You
tell
might
me
have done
this,
it
Ronnie
in
Paul.
91.
Ronnie Paul. Let me
Yeah.
ask. Well, the Beam has gotten fat. Not only me who's gotten fat, but
Beamer's-
that
the
3
Beamer's gotten
Series
fat.
is now the size of
Blame
a
it on
5
Blame-
Series. You know
Blame
that?
the Beamer.
You got to stop.
No,
Hey, stop letting your
So-
Beamer eat inside the car.
Ronnie Paul, I wanted to ask you: should I start doing the leather now? Give it a squirt with that Maguire's leather spray.
Okay, so listen, you're saying it's raining a lot, right?
Ronnie, it's torrential. It's
Yeah,
flood,
listen,
floods.
you got a lot of moisture in the air, so you don't have to worry about cracking or anything like that.
Okay, but I was going to use that spray, the
Yeah.
303,
That's fine.
and just use a microfiber towel to.
Yeah. So what you
What-
do
what-
is you spray it onto the seats and then rub it down.
Okay, let me ask you this, Ronnie Paul. Do
I'm
I
going to make a
with the
downer comment.
Listen, I got a question for you.
What's the
Before I
poll
use
results,
these
Archie?
just
What's
quiet.
the poll?
Before I use the microfiber towel, should I wash them first before I use them to wipe down the leather, or
Listen,
would you just use them like that?
Use something like woolite and use not too much of it, and then you can
What's
wash
woolite?
it and let it woolite.
He doesn't
So I
know
should
about
wash this
that.
or not? I could wash this without soap. I could
Look,
just put it through.
I know that you're supposed to use woolite, and you use woolite to wash it. So you just get like a little bit of woolite in there, wash it. Do not use any softening products. Just
No.
air dry it inside.
So would you wash these before you use them on your car?
I don't think it would make a difference. I think I would just use them.
I'm asking you. What do you anybody think? You've had a
okay,
car
so
for 12.
I would examine the cloth to make sure there's nothing there. I'd shake
Run a
it out.
poll,
Josh,
Archie.
what would you say? Would you wash the cloths before you use them for the first
No,
time, or would you?
I would just use them.
I use them as long as the package that they come in is intact, because when
Yeah.
I buy them,
Yeah.
they're completely sealed.
Yeah.
It's like underwear, Archie. Do you wash your underwear before you put on a fresh
Well, you
pack?
should. You should wash your
Archie.
underwear, shouldn't you?
Why?
When you first
Right.
buy them in the pack,
Why?
Yeah.
Why would you? Why?
Oh, I don't
Because
let my tire shine.
He's concerned where they were made and how they were.
Then
Who are you, Jerry
$2,
Seinfeld?
keeping it pristine for the next punter to rent.
I'm gonna say
So-
something here that's not gonna make you happy, but it's an incentive for your weight loss program. The heavier you are, the more stress on the leather seats when you sit in them.
Archie, you're going to get such a good workout with this car.
Yes.
And let me tell you something. I saw you put up the 18-second video hosing it down.
Yeah.
That's not good enough. You can't just walk around it and hose it like that. You gotta get
Paul
water
and Doc, I've got a
So
question.
say that again. What did I do wrong?
You didn't put any energy in it.
Yeah, you put no effort.
No. That's just the first rinse. This is a 30-step process.
So what?
30?
You rinsed it 2 days ago. Tomorrow you bucket wash.
No.
Hey,
Stop. Stop. I rinsed
You're
it.
talking about the
I rinsed
laziest
it.
man we know. Come on.
Listen to me. I rinsed it. Listen, Ronnie Paul.
I'm listening.
I rinsed it. Then I used the mitt to wash the whole car.
Yeah, but I didn't see you do that.
No,
Hey,
that video only had that
Diego.
section on it.
How are you, brother?
Sup, guys?
Okay, so
Hey, can we see your car, Diego?
I don't get service down there. It'll be all choppy, but we can try.
Hoff on Smash. How are you, Hoff? What's going on?
I'm doing well, Arch. You inspired me
Hey.
to jump on. You guys got me all.
Hey,
What sort of
Hoff.
car have you got?
Talk.
Hey,
What
Hoff.
sort of car?
I have an Audi S6. I sent you pictures of it.
Hoff,
Oh,
do you eat
yes,
a drink
it's a
in the
beautiful
car?
car.
Do you eat a drink in the car, Hoff?
We're gonna try, boys.
You know,
Okay.
Hoff,
I am guilty.
Are you at Hoff?
Yeah, there you go. Hoff eats and drinks in the car. Yeah.
You
thanks,
eat in your
Hoff.
car?
And you know what, Plastic? I also go to a car wash.
Excellent. Love you, Hoff.
Ooh,
You're the
Fine,
man.
when you say
fine,
car
fine,
wash, do you
fine,
mean
There is
No
only
time.
one car wash I go to where they actually have Central Americans in raincoats. It's 100% brushless, and it's literally people that are in raincoats, washing your car as you go through. It's actually comical. I should take video sometime.
Yeah, we get ours detailed, Hoff, at home. They come to our house. It's good. $100
Yeah.
you've got to know your
$100
own
bucks.
car? If you're
Yeah,
not doing,
but
if you're not washing
here's-
your own car,
here's
how do you
why.
know if
I mess it up every time I try to wash. I bought all the shit that you did, Arch, and I just end up with hard water spots like Ronnie Paul was talking about.
Yeah, I got fucking spots all over the fucking.
Can I say, Hoff,
Exactly.
you're the greatest panelist that's been on this show since
Yeah.
I jumped on. Thank you,
Yeah,
Hoff.
I got fucking spots everywhere.
But by
Can
the
you
way,
Art?
besides
Hey,
eating
Art.
on the car,
Can you
besides
mofos
eating-
still hear me?
Yes.
Hey,
Is the
That's a
video
beautiful
choppy?
car.
or-
keep your
That's
car in the
fucking
garage?
beautiful.
All right, let's fucking do
I
this
do.
shit.
That's
I
beautiful
live in
car.
a
What's
condo
wrong with
like
that?
Diego, so
Nothing.
my car's in a situation like this.
How's the video?
It looks
Beautiful.
good, Diego.
Bit small Diego, is it? Or you happy?
So this is where the dog goes.
Oh, you let your dog
Dog
in the
hair is-
car.
dog
Oh,
hair is a bitch.
fuck.
Dog hair is a
No, no, no.
bitch.
Oh!
I would
Oh
never,
my God! You let the dog in the car. Oh
Never
my
taken-
God!
never
It's
take
a
a dog in the
custom-
car. Ever.
it's
Ever.
a
Not
custom-
only does he let the dog in the car, he never lets it out of the car.
Even I know that. Even I know
Alright.
that, guys. Come on.
We're gonna go inside and we're gonna see this non-lacquered wood interior.
Archie,
Fucking
that's
amazing.
terrible. You're gonna get dog
All right.
food in the car.
Oh man.
All right, ready for this?
You know how hard it is to get dog hair out?
I think I'd rather
Whoa!
Yeah, I like that. BMW has that available too. You know.
Mine's got that, Archie.
Oh, it does.
Yeah,
What
I
the fuck is that?
What is that? In eight?
Look at
A3
these
it looks
lights,
like.
ready?
Is it an A3?
It's a
Q3.
that a 6-cylinder?
Yeah, Q3.
It's a
you're right,
Q3?
Arch. Yeah.
And it's also Audi doesn't give cylinder ratings; they give a power number. Is it a 35 or a 45 you've got?
Hold on. Can you still hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we can hear
Yeah.
you.
Are you gonna start it?
My fucking Bluetooth, because this car is so cool, has Bluetooth. Automatically
yeah.
switch me off. So let me get back on Bluetooth. Hold on.
Where's the wood? I can't see the wood you're talking about.
The dog ate it.
All right. Can you see me
He's
now?
making me want to go downstairs right now.
Archie,
Yep.
Speaking about Audi, you remember I was asking you about 2 weeks ago about the Audi 5000?
Yes.
So there's a guy that I watch on YouTube. He has his own channel. It's called My Old Car.
Ah.
And he happened to do a spotlight. He did one on the Audi 5000 about a week after we were discussing it. So you should take a look at it. It's pretty cool.
My Old Car.
Yeah, My Old Car. And he did the Audi 5000. I think it's like two videos ago.
I like the 5000. Yeah, I quite like that.
So the
Actually,
price.
what's
watch
the poll
Harry's
results? Come on, man. What's the poll result? What's the result? Come on.
Okay, I can hear you guys now. Can you hear me?
Do you wash your own car?
Yeah.
54% is yes.
There you go. So half
Yeah.
people don't. Half
All right.
don't.
That's incredible.
So
Nearly half.
here's a
That's
cool
still
thing about this
incredible.
car. Let me see if I can.
The ones with
Let me see
kids.
if I can
though.
remember how to do this. I can change. I don't know if you can do this on yours, Archie. I can change the. Oh my God! You're gonna have to fucking delete
Don't
this
dock
screen.
yourself. Don't dock yourself. Come on.
I can change. I can change the fucking color of the lights if I can.
Yeah, me
Oh, yeah,
too.
yeah.
do it.
Beamer
Yeah.
does that as well. And I can
Yeah,
just
so
say,
like-
Beamer, change
Yeah.
color to blue.
Yeah.
So like all these accent lights back here, I can change them to red.
Blue's
Yeah,
my
yeah,
favorite,
yeah.
actually.
We got that. We can do that. Yeah.
What
Still
about?
favorite
Do you
inside
have the
car.
Here we
airbag
go.
suspension?
NATO, $3. Are you a fan of Vag, Arch? So Vag is Volkswagen Audi Group. I really dislike Vag. Okay. I
Well,
gotta tell you,
that
Vag,
kind of
Yeah, exactly, Doc. I am
So-
a fan of the other type.
Any questions you guys asked me? I didn't hear. Oh, I didn't hear anything.
Yeah, do you have a sunroof?
What's the engine?
Oh.
I really don't
I'm
know.
interested in the engine, not so much in the car.
Actually,
I have
what
no
color are you
idea.
running inside? Are you running blue?
He's lit-
Blue
It'll be a
Hilux?
turbo. It'll be a turbo 4. Is it diesel or gasoline?
Diesel, and I
Oh,
only
it's
put
gas, I'm
premium
sure.
in it.
Oh, really?
Sorry?
It's got. Yeah, it's a company vehicle, so I've got a company gas card, so I don't have to pay for the gas. So I just put premium in it.
Oh, it's company car. Who cares if the dog goes in it?
Yeah, no wonder he's treating it like trash.
Yeah, who cares?
Yeah,
No,
exactly.
it's not treating it that bad.
But no, I don't look. This thing is fucking like 3 years old, and you would never know it. Look at these floor mats. Look at these rubber floor mats.
Yeah, well, you don't have any
Rubber.
seats yet.
Rubber.
He just has-
Rubber.
It's got-
Rubber.
I take care of this car.
Cream
It's a really good
interior,
car.
and he lets dog in a car with a cream interior.
Rubber.
Fuck!
Archie,
Fuck!
the dog.
It's a
The
Q5.
dog only goes
It's a
in this
Q5.
crate.
Q3.
The
Q3
dog only
actually.
goes. It's a Q5. The dog only goes in this
Yeah,
crate,
but German.
so he
yeah,
doesn't
but
go in the
German
interior.
Shepherd. German Shepherds are known to shed like hell. It's all
Yeah,
gonna
They
be
do.
in the car.
absolutely.
They do, but a lot of it stays contained back here. So
Oh, yeah, it's
none of it
contained.
really
Yeah.
goes in the.
Does your girlfriend make sure he's nice and clean and smelling nice?
His wife does
Yeah.
too.
What, shit's in the
So-
Oh,
car?
it's a
Whatever that
2-liter
means.
turbo. He's got a
2.0,
2-liter
2.0.
Whatever that means,
four-cylinder.
and Q5.
Okay, that
Yeah.
means it's gonna be you get rid of it when the lease finishes. Okay, that's what that means. Okay,
Oh, no, we didn't-
It's same as my Beamer. Get rid of it when if they offer you the chance to buy it outright and it's been so reliable, just
You tell them
don't do that.
You say,
Give it
I don't
back.
want this. It's got dog's hair in it.
It's not a
Yeah.
lease though. Speaking
No,
of
Oh, you own it.
there he is. There he is. I don't know if you can full
It's a
screen
company
this.
car. What do you mean it's not a lease?
No, they just buy them.
I mean,
Oh,
he
right.
just hands it back to his company when he's done with it.
Got
And
it.
No,
then the company
typically-
sells it to somebody.
No. Typically, when you leave, or if they let you go, they typically just let you keep it.
So
I'm gonna go in the elevator. So
What
I'm
sort of
lose
company
guys.
do you work for?
Yeah.
What sort of company do
Enterprise
you work
Rent-A-Car?
for?
Yeah, I
Archie.
work for Enterprise.
Archie.
Anyhow, it doesn't matter. Look, that's okay.
My guess is
Ronnie
he might not
Paul-
want to tell us.
So listen,
I know,
I got a buddy of mine who works for an energy company. They do the same thing. They give him a company car that he can drive around in because he's a manager of a particular region.
Yes.
He gets to keep the car as a company car for 3 years, and then what they do is they either give him a chance to buy out the vehicle and keep it himself, or they
Yeah.
take the car away from him and give him a new car. What they end up doing with those cars is they send them to a broker. Usually, they call themselves corporate cars, and these guys resell it privately.
I see.
Yeah.
It's
So
amazing.
I love that Audi, Archie, but I think you're right. Like if I had the chance to buy it, I might not.
Would you get an A4 instead? Did you have a choice of vehicles? What choices did you have?
Pretty much anything I wanted. They initially
Like
said,
what?
I mean anything. I mean I got an
A8?
Audi.
Like what?
There was a dollar value when I
could you have gone
was
for an
interviewed.
A4?
Yeah. So I was actually trying to get the all-road, the crossover.
But why didn't you get an A4? That's a very nice sporting A4 Quattro is what I would have gone for.
Because when I went to the dealer, apparently the A4 all roads had a recall. I couldn't even get
the all road. I said the A4 sedan. I don't want the fucking all road. I want the sedan.
I wanted the all road.
I guess for the dog, right, Diego?
Yeah, and I also like the look of it, but they had a recall. They wouldn't even open. They wouldn't even open the doors for him, let alone a test drive. I said, "Can I at least just sit in it?" They said,
That's the luckiest thing in the world. You don't want a station wagon. At least you got the Q5.
No, I like station wagons.
If you can get an A4, why not an A5?
Well,
yeah, an A5 would be very cool.
I don't know. I honestly did not. When I was doing the build your own Audi, the one I have has everything. And
why did they want you to pick an Audi? Could you pick a Mercedes or a BMW?
That probably would have been a little too much.
Really?
Is this SUV talk or are we doing car talk? What happened?
Yeah, that's right
I come
there.
on the stream for the first time ever, and here comes Diego's little dirtbag stealing my thunders. I was just gonna get into my car.
Yes. Okay. Let's get onto your car, Hoff. What car have you got, Hoff?
That's what happens when you show your face.
You've got the S5, haven't you? Got the S5. The S5.
So no, I have an S6.
Oh fuck! I love the S6. You know, that's a great car. You got the Quattro as well, haven't you?
Correct. It's full-time all-wheel drive.
What year is it?
2021. I just got it in July.
It's a company car or your own car?
No, my own. So
how much was it?
As well, I was going to buy it, and then I'll be honest, there was so much electronic shit in there. It has like airbag suspension, an electric turbocharger. It does 400. It has 450 horsepower. It's a 2.9 liter V6.
Yeah.
And it freaked me out, all the electrics that are in it. But I said, "Fuck this! I'm leasing it. If it's any issues, I could give it back. I don't have the exposure."
It's all touchscreen, right? Like they don't have any knobs.
And it's actually taptic. The same thing like in an iPad. That's actually the thing that really freaked me out.
So I preferred Volvo, but when I was buying in 2018, pretty much every Volvo was touchscreen. And that's what led me to Audi. And I think I got like one of the last years that actually still had buttons.
Oh, you wanted buttons.
I wanted to be Archie, if I was hot, I wanted to be able to have a dial to turn the air down.
Yeah, I got the same thing on the BMW. The Mercedes has got now, it's all on the touchscreen. I hate that because
I hate it too.
You never know where it is, where a button is. I can just glance at a button in 1 second and I know which button it is. You know what I mean? Yeah. I know the feel of the fucking thing. You know what I'm saying?
The more you drive it, you don't even have to.
Plus the screen gets all dirty.
Yeah, the fingerprints are horrible.
Tell me this: you sent me a picture. What was your name? I can't remember. I can't find it.
Hold on, I'll send it to you right now.
Yeah, send it to me again. I got to admit, that was a sexy-looking Audi.
So
that was actually the day I picked it up.
So how much was it again? Can you tell me how much it was?
I want to say it was like 90.
Fuck, 90 US?
Yeah, I try to.
Holy fuck!
Wow.
How much was that on a lease?
Oh, it's like a rack a month.
It's like $3,600 a month. No, maybe not that much.
No,
it's
1,800.
Archie, what did our friend JJ pay a month for his lease when we used to get the Mercedes? What did he pay?
So what happened, Arch? I kind of got lucky.
I can't remember.
I had
$300, huh?
I had a lease that I had gotten from my father, and he never drove it, and so I had about over $6,000 that I got equity in there.
Fuck,
And Audi
that's
actually
cool,
put
isn't it?
that. I gave them that lease, and they put it towards the down payment towards this car.
Yeah.
So when my lease worked out, I didn't have to put no money down. Just gave them that car, and it was $980 a month for the lease, and then had I got the wheel and tire package because it is 21s. And I live right outside of New York City, so there's like major potholes, and I didn't want to have the exposure in case I crack one of them. So by the time I did that, Audi Care, all the other shit they knock you out at, it's just over. It's like $1,020 a month.
Oh,
Like
can I ask you?
Diego or
Can I
someone
ask you a
else was
question
saying,
about the
I
maps?
get a monthly like stipend from work as part
Yeah.
of the lease thing, so I'm not paying half that.
Can I ask you about the maps? Because when I got mine for the first year, I had Google Maps, and it was incredible. And then Audi, they lost their partnership with Google, and they went to some new map system. But I haven't updated yet. Can you still see like satellite imagery on that, or?
You can, it's funny. You can use either your iPhone or Android, both work, and you can use the map system straight in there. But it has navigation built in that if you have if you use the Audi navigation, it actually shows on the dashboard. So it actually is like the wallpaper to all your tax and stuff, so you don't have to look at it.
See, it used to have Google Maps, and it was like super detailed. It was incredible.
Yeah,
like
no,
you could see your
That
house
car-
when you were parking.
Just out of interest, Hoff, see that car in Australia. So I'm paying $1,029 a month on my Beamer, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But you know what?
I got a really good deal. I have good credit, so I ended up getting
in
a really
my
good
country.
interest rate.
That Audi there would be like $150,000. It's expensive. That's not a cheap Audi.
Yeah, no, and they're hard to get. It really took me a while, and so. Let's say I work at a prestigious company where they have a lot of senior execs that spend a lot of money. Someone gave me the name of the guy who's a general manager at his dealership, and I just called name dropping him and was like, so-and-so gave me your name. This is what I need. I knew they had it in stock and heard you were the guy to talk to. And then he just, connected me with someone in finance that ran everything. And it was something I don't know. Sometimes you get a fire in your ass and you're like, I'm going to make this happen. And just a week later I had it. And
so the lease is actually in your name. The company lets you go. They're not liable for your payment.
Exactly. Yep.
Could that could be nasty, couldn't it, or not?
Yeah. I mean, listen, it is what it is. I have a contract, so it's not like I can just get at will fired. If they fire me, they still got to pay me out for the remainder.
You just hand back the keys, wouldn't you?
No, because it's in my name.
Car's in his
name.
Just sell it. Just sell it. Buy something cheaper.
Well, then you have something called negative equity, plastic.
I don't know. I buy my things outright, Archie. It doesn't bother me.
What I was going to say about mine really quick, all those, it's fully loaded, every option you could think of. When I was building it, I had a budget. And so a lot of those things weren't in my privy, like the little lights and the cooled seats and all that shit. But when I went there, it was at the end of 2018, and they had stock that I guess was old.
When
really
are you
made
getting
in
a new one,
2017.
Diego? How many years do they keep these fuckers for?
I don't know. It's right now. It's got 67,000 miles on it. I take it in for service every 10,000 miles. I don't know. Probably at 150 or so, they might say you want something new. I really don't know. I've only been with the company for 3.5 years.
But 3.5 years, and it's a 17 car.
Yeah, purchased 2018 in October. So
2018.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's 19. Okay, got you.
But yeah, I was not expecting to get all that shit, and then when they said, "What's your budget?" and I said, "No," so let's go see what you got. The salesman was really upset because I wouldn't tell him what my budget was. He said, "That's not fair." I said, "I don't care. You tell me what you can sell this car for, and we'll see if I want it."
He's trying to sell it at retail.
He's like, "I got to know what I'm working with." I was like, "No, You give me an offer and we'll see.
I actually got 5% knocked off the retail of this, the retail sticker price of this car, because I literally had negotiated everything down as if I was buying it, and then at the last minute decided to lease it. Once I actually drove it, seen everything in it, it kind of got me a little freaked out. And
Oh yeah.
I think that definitely helped the cause too.
You know
One
what
of
I've
the
heard,
things I like
Archie?
the most about it, though, honestly, is it's two cars in one. So it has airbag suspension, so it has a comfort mode, so it could drive like a Cadillac. I'm telling you, you never would believe those are 21-inch rims.
Wow.
It just drives amazingly smooth. We just had like major snow, in the ice. It drives like as clean as an SUV. And then you could slam it to the ground in another mode.
Whose car
and
is
it
that?
just
Metal
drives like nothing.
bug. Whose car was that, metal bug?
Oh, that was my old Audi, actually.
I love
That's
it. What year
awesome.
is that?
Is
Yeah.
that TT? Or what is
It
that?
was a 2005 A4.
That's a lovely
Cabriolet,
car.
right?
Yes.
What do you got now? Oh, you got the
Well,
Jeep. That's right.
yeah, I'm leasing a Jeep right now.
Was that a mistake? Why would you go to a Jeep?
Well, employee discount.
Okay. Is it good, the Jeep?
Yeah, I love it. It's all-terrain tires.
Be careful going around corners fast. Those things have a tendency to flip.
Yeah. I got to tell you guys, seriously. Ronnie Paul, so car care, well, don't do anything that's wet and horrible. You can't do anything at the moment.
Archie, you know what's interesting? When I
What's
was
that?
growing up as a teenager and all that stuff, when we looked at cars, we were always measuring and amazed by the horsepower in the engine that the car had. But
Diego doesn't even know.
All I'm hearing from the guys now is about what kind of electronic bullshit this comes with.
No, first thing I said, Ronnie, was 450 horsepower.
By the way,
450 is pretty good.
Oh yeah, that's good.
Who had the Audi?
I did.
Yeah, that's the Hoff-on Smash.
Who was driving the Chrysler 300?
Oh, it was my dad's car.
Was it is it a Hemi?
It was the Sport, not the Hemi.
Oh, so it had the Pentastar 6-cylinder engine in it.
In a sport trim, right?
You still driving it?
That's an old picture, and that's like 6 years old.
Okay.
When will we go fully electric, guys? What's happening there? You think we'll be allowed? When will we go fully electric?
Oh fuck! I don't.
Hopefully never. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I know.
Coal? You mean coal powered?
Wait, Ronnie,
exactly. I totally agree with you, Diego.
You'll love this, because my car has an electronics turbo. I actually can register it as a clean pass. Technically, it's a hybrid car, even though it has a twin turbo V6. The turbocharger is actually electric in that model.
And how much
so
you
I can
save on
register
that
it as
health?
a clean pass and get all the insurance. Doesn't register as like a sports car because it's got 4 doors and it's a hybrid. So my insurance in this car was cheaper than a regular car with like 200 horsepower. It's amazing.
So check this out. When I was in the market to go and buy my car, I was looking at a Mustang GT. I was looking at the Camaro, which was just coming out with the V8, and I was looking at the Challenger. The Camaro was the one with the V8 engine that I think was like 6.4 liter with 425 horsepower or something like that. So when I called up my insurance companies, I narrowed it down to two vehicles. It was the Challenger with the Hemi engine and the Camaro with the 6.4 425.
Yeah.
They quoted me a higher rate for the Challenger than for that than the Camaro.
Really?
Yeah, simply because of the Hemi engine.
Got it.
How much higher, Ronnie Paul? Was it much?
I think it was somewhere between 25. I think it was about $25 more a month for my Challenger than it was for that Camaro.
Jesus Christ.
They charged. The Camaro had a bigger, faster engine, and they were charging me more for the challenge.
Archie, what's your annual insurance premium for your Beamer?
It's about $1,800 a year.
Ours is $1,000.
Did you do that through BMW? No, you wouldn't have. You wouldn't get that.
Shop around, big boy.
Yeah, but you shop around. Who's got the Corvette? Whose Corvette's that?
What Corvette?
The one that Diego just sent me.
He just dropped off.
Is it a vet?
He dropped off.
Yeah.
By the way, Ronnie, before I got the S6, I was actually looking at a Hellcat Durango until I seen what the insurance was.
Are you paying monthly or annually for your insurance?
Monthly.
Hey, I just sent you some photos.
There's a guy down at Skyfleet. He does. He's a Toyota guy. He'll help anyone out with insurance. He'll hook you up with Suncorp if you want.
So I'm paying $1,500 a year for mine.
Diego, whose Corvette is that?
That's my. Remember, I told you my coworker had the new Corvette. That's
fucking
his.
hot. What do you think?
That's the one that he bought, and when he bought it, it had a hair under the clear coat.
He's getting a bit picky, isn't he? Why didn't you fucking get a Corvette, man? That would have been so cool to have a vet.
He's got a fiance and a dog to worry about.
Fuck the dog.
Yeah, they're beautiful.
Look at that.
I think he'd rather fuck the fiance. Actually.
Yeah. How would you put the dog in that car?
Yo, they're so uncomfortable. My uncle just got one, and I'm 6'2". I could barely even get in it, let alone sit comfortably.
So he's on a wait list, just like with the Rolexes. He's on a wait list for another one. Yeah. And they told him there's 7 people ahead of you. And he's like, well, fuck, I already bought one. And they're like, yeah, it doesn't really matter. We'll sell you one for $30,000 over retail.
My dad had a white 58 Corvette.
It's crazy that's an American car. That to me looks like
amazing.
It's like a supercar.
Right.
Yeah, it looks incredible.
Would you ever get one of those, Ronnie Paul?
How much are they going for? US?
I think retail, the new ones that he's waiting on, maybe 70, 80 or so. But
then that's $100,000 car.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's a lot of money, Ronnie Paul.
In Canadian dollars, yeah, that's a lot of money to put in a car. I'd maybe buy it used, like when it's like 3 or 4 years old, but. You know, most people don't take good care of it, and they pound the hell out of it, and then you're
that's exactly it. That's the sort of car it is, isn't it? And it's got a lot of GM plastic still in it. Doesn't matter. It's $100,000 car. It's still got GM cheapness in it.
No,
so
that
Archie,
interior, at least in my uncle's one, I mean, is top notch.
So Archie, when I was in college, I valeted on the side.
Oh, so
and I drove this guy's. I brought some guys. Not a Bentley. What's the other one? It might have been a Bentley. No, it was a Bentley. I brought the Bentley up to him, and I'm getting out, and he goes, "So what'd you think?" And I said, "You want my honest opinion?" And he goes, "Sure." And I said, "You have the same gear shift as my mom's Passat."
Oh, so they're interchanging the parts, right?
And he goes, "What?" And I was like, "Yeah." I was like, this is the exact same gear shift plate that's in my mom's Volkswagen. and then I drove another guy's, I think it was a Corvette, and same thing.
Did he give you a tip? Did he give you a tip?
No, that guy didn't. But then,
Diego, you know, maybe it's good if you blow smoke up their ego. They give you a 50. I don't know if you realize this, right? People who drive Bentleys, you say, this is the most beautiful car I've ever been in my life. I can't sleep at night. It was so amazing.
Listen to this story. It was late. It was late. A guy brought his BMW, similar car to yours, and he said, is there no self-parking? And I said, well, you could park across the street, but, you know, it's an exposed lot.
Have you tried that, Archie? Self-parking yet?
He was very hesitant to valet, right? I could tell he was nervous. So I took his car. I parked it in a spot where no other car could park to the left or right. I took a photo of it, And when I got back upstairs, he was in the lobby. And I said, hey, man, I could tell you're a little bit nervous. I parked your car in this spot. Here you, like, take a look. Nothing's going to happen to it. And he was like, dude, oh my God. And he pulled out a 50. He's like, I was so nervous. You read my mind. Thank you so much for taking care of that car. I was like, you got it, man. No worries.
That's like a super chat for your wife's birthday, Archie.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a good question. Out of all the panelists that are here today, how many of you would park your car closest to the supermarket, and how many would park all the way in the back?
Well, I want to
park
go
next to a concrete
yeah,
pile.
one concrete
Exactly.
pile. I'd like
No,
to
I park
next
far
to.
away.
Yeah.
I look
And-
for a walkway or something that
Hey.
gives you that area.
And I back up into spots.
Did any of you guys see the Mercedes?
Always.
Did any of you guys see the Mercedes ad for valet parking?
No.
Is that the Marco Nicolini one?
You didn't see the Mercedes ad for parking? Are you serious or not? Seriously?
No,
Is that the
we
Marco
did not-
Nicolini one, Archie?
Okay, I'm going to run it. I'm going to run this because
Yeah. Let's see.
TBT's, buddy.
I can't believe it. You didn't see. This is one of the best advertisements I've ever seen in my life. Okay.
Hey, Archie, really quick, though. You are right, though. The Corvettes, at least the ones I drove, had the same window wipers. They had the same air conditioning. They had the same seat belts as the Chevy Cruises that I drove when I
I hate Chevy Cruises.
And it was just like, you're paying for a supercar. Can you guys at least change the window buttons to be something a little custom?
That was my problem with the Hellcat Durango that I got into. I'm like, you're going to spend over 80 grand on a car and a plastic everything interior.
Mm-hmm.
Now, just out of interest, guys, did you see this Mercedes? I just want to show you something, right? This ad, this thing is so cool. So you see him in his Mercedes here, right?
Yeah.
He did a handbrake turn. Dear
Right.
petrol heads, of course we know this car actually has a parking brake with a foot pedal, but it looks damn cool like this in the film. Because the Mercedes doesn't have a handbrake.
That's true.
That model of Mercedes had a foot handbrake. You use your foot. You understand?
So my
But look
Dodge, my Challenger has the same thing.
Because there's no handbrake.
Hey, Hoff, your Audi's got that little pull tab parking brake?
Yeah. Yeah.
You ever pull that thing going like 10 miles an hour?
No, actually.
The car comes to a stop.
It's got a lot of manual.
You like these guys?
Honestly, that was me valet parking. Like, basically, we
That's
got
my
this
nightmare.
valet parking at all these clubs, and it was a service that you valet
Oh my
parked at all,
God.
like big bars, clubs, or private, like wealthy events. And in the private wealthy events, they would never tip you. Don't straight out of their cars. They'd make you park it like far away from the house. So once you got
These
out of
stunts have
eyesight,
been
you
performed
could
by
do whatever you
professional
want.
drivers. We strongly recommend not to do them. Thank you.
I'll be honest, when I valeted, I never took a car over like fucking 10 miles an hour ever. I drove some guys, the Corvette in question, when I
You
brought
never
it to
took
the
what
guy.
when you valeted? You never what?
I never went over 10 miles an hour. I
But it
understood
depends
was other
how you
people's-
valet. There's a lot of different scenarios, right? You can
Yeah,
valet
so I
in
was
a
in like
tight
a really,
parking lot.
I was like an upscale hotel, and when I brought that guy's Corvette, he was like, "What'd you think?" I'm like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Oh, come on, you took it for a spin. What'd you think of the engine?" I'm like, "I really don't know, man. I mean, I didn't go over 10 miles an hour." He's
But
like,
did
"Why?"
you warm them up before you drove them?
No, because these guys, they want their car right now.
Yeah, fast. Yeah, you
Yeah.
don't warm them up. I mean, if you were waiting there warming them up.
And
you
here's the
can-
thing, Archie. The more cars you pull, the more cars you can bring in a shift, the more tips you get. So
Exactly.
you're not just waiting for the engine to warm up. Plus, these guys are only there for an hour or two, so it doesn't really.
Ronnie Paul, what would you actually use a valet service?
A valet
Ronnie
guy
Paul.
fucked up my car once.
You know what, Archie?
I can't lie. I really fucked up someone's car once, and I was so nervous. It was probably my second day on the valet job. So probably can't get in trouble for this anymore if they track me down. But it was
What
a very
happened?
tight it was a very tight parking in like one of those wedding reception places that they pack to the gills, so you run out of parking like halfway through, and then you're making all this impromptu parking. And I went to park it very close to this.
What was it?
It was actually those those SUV Mercedes back
ML
in
350 or something like that.
Yes, exactly.
Or ML 500.
So I was in a rush, like Diego was saying, it's all about the hustle. I was in a rush and I was trying to back it into like this wall really tight, and then I just hear like right.
Oh
so
my
I'm
god!
Like, fuck! And all of a sudden, I'm like petrified. So I just jump back out. You throw the keys on a board, right? So they don't know who parked it because all the keys are just on a board.
How badly damaged
You're
was it?
supposed to put your damn initials. And this,
When we were
I have
doing
a
it, they
follow-on
didn't.
story.
You threw them on this board, and as fate would have it, of course, I get the ticket. I go running to the board. I'm like, fuck, this is the car, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I go. Thankfully, it was at least dark out at this point. I'm like, what do I say? Do I just automatically call it out? Anything? I was like, fuck it. I'm just pull up. I'm going to just have stone face. Here you go, as quickly as I can. Look at the person. They stiffed me on the tip so I don't feel bad. And they were completely smashed and jumped in the car. It just like peeled out. So I guarantee
How
you
much
they
tip
didn't,
did they give you?
No,
Zero.
they didn't give me
He
no
said they
tip.
stiffed him.
They stiffed
All
me
right.
on the tip. And they
Follow-on
were just
story.
like smashed.
So I got a call one day at 1 a.m. from my boss. And he says, he was this guy from Zimbabwe. He goes, Diego.
Yes, Diego.
What happened to the vehicle in parking spot, whatever? I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, we will talk tomorrow. I'm like, no, what the fuck happened? And so he says, I send you email. So I look at the email and there's a minivan and the entire side of this minivan is just fucking destroyed. I'm talking
Diego, how could you?
I'm talking this whole side panel is just scratched to shit. And I'm like, holy fuck. So I couldn't sleep. I drove there the next morning. I'm like, what happened? He's like, don't lie to me. Diego, don't lie. Just tell me it was you. I'm like, I didn't fucking do this. He says, Diego, I know it was you. Just do not lie. I'm like, okay, give me the fucking ticket. Because like he was saying, you've got the key and the key has a ticket and it has your initials. So yes, I did park that car. And yes, I did bring that car to them later in that day. But I never scratched it. So I had to do my own damn little self-investigation. I went to the parking spots where I parked it because we used to write not only who parked it, but where. So like P6 spot 16. So I took photos of where I parked it. Okay, there's no concrete here, no concrete here. So the two places that I pulled it from and parked it, no, there's no way I could have done this damage. So then I started going through the whole parking garage and I'm looking at every concrete pillar. And sure enough, I finally find one that has the same red paint just fucking all over this pillar. Take the photos, go home. I write a damn report. I say, I parked the car at whatever time, in this spot, cameras on floor, whatever, will confirm this. Then the car was brought to the guest at this time from this spot. Cameras again will confirm. At some point while I was not working, this car was parked at this parking spot. Check the cameras. You will see that I was not the driver. Let me know what you think. And then some fucking kid finally fessed up that it was him and he was scared for his job and all sorts of shit. But
did they say sorry to you?
No, they never fucking apologized.
When you say another kid, you mean a valet kid or just some kid?
Just
Did
some
you at
other
least
valet.
beat the dog shit out of that kid for throwing you under the bus like that?
No. But the other funny thing about that job was we had a little punch-out system at the end of every shift. You would put your number and how much you got in tips. And I was like the only person in college. All these other people were just like, I don't know, just city folk. And they always used to go, "Man, Diego, you're a fucking idiot." I'm like, "Why?" They're like, "Man, don't tell him you got $200." I'm like, "But I did good." And so if you made less than a certain threshold in tips, you got paid minimum wage on top of that.
Yep.
So because I was putting that I made $220 that night, they were paying me $1.15 an hour. Meanwhile, these other guys that were also getting $200 were getting $7.15 an hour on top of that because they were putting that they only got
Because they were
$15 in
lying.
tips.
Yeah.
So that's why they're all like, "Man, you're a fucking idiot." And I never understood until years later what they meant.
I tell you, valet parking was a
was-
great job for college. I really
Dude.
had fun and enjoyed it. It was just so much fucking around. You got to like enjoy every beautiful car. One of my buddies
Yeah.
who we valet parked with, this is why I always will remember an 850 CSI, top of the line BMW.
BMW
Wow.
850 V12.
Yes, V12. It was insane. And I actually parked the car, right? And this car had
Pop-up
a keypad.
headlights.
Yes, and it had a keypad in it that you actually had to remember the pattern, right? So when I put the key on the board, I on a piece of paper wrote down the keypad, but my buddy didn't remember what the numbers I wrote down on the keypad because the guy told me when they did it, and it was so you didn't have to use the key. I guess they thought, I don't know. People always think valets are super smart, like criminals. They're going to copy the keys and do all these sophisticated things. It's a bunch of drunken miscreants that are valet parking. So anyway, my buddy goes to get in the 850 CSI later on. All of a sudden, we're waiting for him. What the fuck happened to him? Where is he? I go to go look for him because this guy is melting down. Where's his car? He's locked in the car. He put the wrong number in on the keypad and it just locked him in this car. And I don't know if it was just this 850 CSI or this was an option. It had bulletproof glass, so they couldn't even get him out of it. The cops came to try to break the window. They couldn't. And they had to get the fire department there to get him out.
Wow.
So the guy who actually owned the car came out and he was wasted. Like, again, these were at a lot of like wealthy events where people just were smashed. And the funniest part is there were so many of these people leaving like completely wasted in front of cops and no one even took a second glance. So he starts laughing at my friend and he's like, "Oh, look, you're like boy in the bubble. Ha ha ha." At this point, my friend's getting claustrophobic. He's freaking out. He's in the car for probably 45 minutes. He starts punching the center like the dashboard and everything, and just starts punching. The guy starts crying and like freaking out, trying to pound on the window to get him out. Eventually, the fire department comes and they took those big like pickaxe things and had to like take about half a dozen swings to even temper the glass so they could start prying him out. I'll never forget that car because of that story.
So no one had the key? No one had the key?
No, because it had a system in it with a keypad that instantly locked everything out of it. The guy had the key. He just couldn't get into it. It shut the whole electronic system down. It was supposedly some anti-theft system that he put on aftermarket. It was definitely an aftermarket thing because it had a keypad that was right by the steering wheel column.
Yeah, Archie, it's sort of like when you go to the bank and you put your bank card into it, and if you put the password incorrect too many times, it just locks you out. So that sounds like what happened to him. It just locked him out. You had to go to the dealership to get that fixed.
You remember me telling you, Archie, how like valeting, it was all about how many cards you could get, like as many as you could. It's almost like the leads, right? This is how important it was. This is how focused you were about getting as many cars. I parked, or some lady came. She had 2 kids, and I said, "Here for business or?"
Diego, did the senior valet ever run a fundraiser for you for your birthday?
Okay, keep telling the story, Diego. I want to hear the story.
This lady, this MILF, gets out of her car. She's wearing yoga pants, the tight black ones. She has a body of an 18-year-old.
Wow.
And she says, "We're just here for the weekend." I said, "Okay." She said, "Thank you." Gives me a $20 tip.
Whew, what sort of car?
honestly, it might have been a minivan. It might have just been an SUV. So I'm like, oh, damn, that was nice. We get a call in the valet booth. Can Diego bring my shoes I left in my car up to my room?
Oh,
The Diego was so focused on just doing the fucking job that when he went up to the room and the kids weren't there, and
What
she
a
said,
Boy Scout.
"Oh, thank you." Little Diego didn't think, "Hey, maybe I can take a little break here."
Or
I just say,
would you
"Here's your
like me to
shoes."
help you with anything else in the room?
Exactly. But one of the most beautiful women I've ever seen, and I was just so focused on how many fucking cars can I get today, and
How many did you do? How many cars did you put park a day?
God, sometimes it was over 100.
Yeah. Sam,
I mean,
if you were trying to get over that 100, once you hit 100, you knew you were
look,
doing good.
if I'm ever single and if I ever win the lottery, I'm gonna take some shifts just to fucking. It was a fun job.
Yeah, I
tell you.
agree, Diego.
pretty
It
good.
was fun.
How old were you
Yeah.
at the time? You were in college, you said, right?
I was in college,
Yes.
yeah.
I was in
And then
college
this
as well.
woman was 40?
Yeah. Probably, 38 or so. But like I said, she gave me a 20 right off the bat, just greeting her. And then
Yep.
she calls an hour later for me to bring up
Asking
her
for
shoes she
your
left in the car.
shoes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell me this. Would you, Doc, you said you refused to use valet parking, correct?
I never have unless it's a rental car.
Would you use valet?
I've never used one unless it's a rental car, unless it's a car I don't
Diego,
care about.
would you ever use valet for your own car?
Yeah, it's a company car. It's insured if something happens.
But when you got
Yeah,
your own car.
I do too. I use valet. I just do the four-corner walk around though.
Yes, he's right. I do definitely do a walk around before.
See, in Australia, we don't really have that much valet parking. It's not a big thing.
Diego, do you ever do a reach around?
All the time on myself because it's so long.
Ronnie and Bug Metal, would you ever do valet parking?
I only did it once, and I would never do it again.
There
what
you
happened
go.
to you? You said you had a story.
Yeah, it was New York City. Might be the worst place to park.
Worst place to park for sure.
What happened?
My rear bumper was all scratched up.
What sort of car?
God. It was a shitter, like a PT Cruiser.
I remember.
At least you
in
learned
the
on a
80s,
shitter car.
No, in
I
New
remember.
York, you have to
Ronnie
tip
Paul,
them before they
you would
park.
never use a valet park, would you?
I don't think I could because I have a manual transmission. Do people still know how to drive those?
I do.
You know what? That's a
fucking love it.
Back in the day, that was part of the job. You couldn't get this valet gig. The first, like the audition, was essentially being able to do two things: drive a valet car or drive a manual transmission and parallel park that manual transmission in a tight spot. If you were able to do both of those things, you had the job.
Yep.
You know what? I remember in the 80s, there was a parking garage where you actually, they used to park in really tight. You had to leave your keys there so other people could move your car out. I thought, I remember thinking to myself, there's no way in the world I would ever use a garage like that.
They do stuff like that here, especially for sporting events. They want to cram as many cars in as possible so that they can make the $50 per car.
Yeah,
they'll do that. They'll just pack it all in.
Yeah.
A lot of my cousins in Mexico, they live in buildings, and the parking there is not like where my car was parked, where it's just you got your own spot. You literally pull up to the building, you give your key to the guy, and he might move 3 or 4 cars, and even just the valets. Like your car is behind 4 other cars. So when it's time to get your car out, they're moving multiple cars to get yours out. It's insane. And even at residential places, like it's insane.
This is upmarket residential, or what's it like?
Yeah, pretty nice places.
Because I wouldn't want them starting my car and moving it. That's not really good for it, Ronnie Paul, is it?
Well, I'd be worried about if it's in a garage and if it's tight, if they're going to scratch something.
See, in my car, Ronnie Paul, even though it's a lease, I'll if I start it up, I'll drive at least 5 kilometers. I go around the block, a big block. If I drop the kids off, I don't just drive there and drive back. I go around the block.
Archie, does your car come with a small credit card and a book?
Yes, the BMW card. I've got that.
What the fuck is that for? I don't.
No, the card.
Yeah.
You know that card?
Yeah.
You can set that up so that you can actually open the car with that key. It's
I
called
think
your
that's the
digital
valet
key.
key, right?
No, this is a special thing with BMW. You can actually use that instead of the key fob, and you can actually start the car. The thing is, you've got to set it up in the computer. You got to set it up in the panel, and once you open the door, you've got 30 seconds to start the car. Otherwise, you have to exit the car, lock it, unlock it, and go in again.
How good's the My BMW app? We use that all the time. It's great, isn't it?
Yeah,
you
it's
can lock the
fantastic.
car, you can start the car. You can put the fan on.
It's amazing. I love my. The only thing is, what I don't like about it is in my car, I always turn the aircon and fans off before I leave the car. Whereas that ventilation system depends on you leaving the ventilation on to what you wanted.
Can't you set that in the app though?
No, but it's not quite sophisticated. So it assumes it's for lazy drivers who just turn the car off with the aircon on at their level.
Sometimes when I park the car, Archie, the fan inside the motor keeps going.
Yeah, well, that's okay.
No, I wondered about it. So I rang the workshop. I rang BMW because it's a diesel 6-cylinder, 3-litre, whatever it is. And they said, yeah, that's normal. Sometimes it just needs to run while it cools down.
So my parents had a Golf, a diesel Golf, and it used to do that also.
Yeah, it freaked me out at first because I've had diesels before and they've never done that.
Can't you remember the Starion? It used to have a turbo. You used to have had a turbo lock. You had to let the car run for a couple of minutes before it turned itself off. Remember those Mitsubishi Starions?
Never owned one.
No, but that's what they did as well. They had a thing called a turbo lock. So you'd turn it off, the car would still run, because once the turbo's running, it's very, very hot temperatures, and it needs to keep running to just dissipate the heat.
My favourite thing is the fake sounds when you put it in sport mode.
My favourite thing is the fact that you let your kids eat and drink in a $100,000 vehicle. That is an absolute. Let me say this to you: you should be fucking ashamed of yourself. You're on a car channel here.
Talk to her.
I'm more
I'll
plastic.
fucking you let me talk to your wife. I will tell her this is so wrong. I will tell her.
Me and Hoff, hands up, hands up.
Arch, it's like you say, you gotta, life is short, you got a wristwatch, you gotta wear it.
You don't let the kids eat in your car. It's okay
wearing
for
it
you
isn't-
to eat.
Wearing it isn't the same as trashing it.
But see, I'm the only one on the panel with kids except for Archie, and Archie sits in an office all day and does nothing. I have a job. I got to take kids to sports. You know,
Hey,
run them around,
Arch.
you know.
Yes.
Does Suckerhorn still have the Jaguar?
That's an old XJ40, 1988 version.
Where is the sucker horn, Archie?
He's in Melbourne. He's
he
got a
doing
lot
well?
of money. I said, man, he wants to buy a Mustang. I said, man, fucking get it, man, because in 10 years' time, it's not.
Arch,
he's
I was watching.
66.
Sorry, I was watching an old video, and I thought I seen a clip of Suckerhorn like in a casket in a B-roll animation. What's that from?
Yeah. Oh no, that was in a bed with me because that was a skit we did. We did a skit. We did a skit.
Oh, it looked like he was in a casket.
No.
That
was
you
just-
guys had a
yeah.
falling out.
No.
Photoshopped him in a casket.
Yeah.
Hey,
I gotta
tell
tell
him
you.
what the falling hours about. Tell him what the falling hours about, Archie.
Look, I gotta say this to you guys. Seriously, Plastic, I don't like you eating in your car anymore. You gotta stop, man. Just say to the wife, you know what, I've been talking to Arch and he's got a BMW and he's not allowed to eat or drink in it. I think that could be a good rule. Why don't you say that to her? Why don't you fucking say that to her?
I'll bring the beam over next time. If we can make a sandwich out of the ingredients that have fallen down between the car seats, then we'll stop eating in the car.
Look, I'm serious, man. How about I talk to you? I'll be nice to her. Let me talk to her. I'll just explain why you can't eat or drink in the car. I'll explain to her how lucky she is to have 100,000.
Okay, Archie, next luxury lifestyle day, we'll meet up in town again.
I want to tell her about
goods,
you.
and you can.
I just can't believe it. I've actually said that. I've gone off at my wife. I've said, Plastic, his wife lets the kids eat and drink in the car. My wife couldn't believe it.
Is Rami allowed in the car yet?
Yeah, but she's no one's allowed to drink. We can drink water. The only exception is we'll have a little bit of bottle
down on the seats, right? You put a towel on the seats before people get on.
Exactly. Put the towel down on the seat if you're drinking water. Yes, that's correct.
Plastic, are you leasing or do you own it?
I own it with Crypto Crap.
I have to say the most annoying thing about my car is whenever a coworker jumps in and they cross their legs in the front seat and they just fucking mar the dash.
What about farting in the car? Farting in the car, guys. Do we fart in the car?
Why are they crossing their legs in the seat?
Well, not crossing their legs, but hiking up their leg and all this stuff.
I know exactly what Diego. That's my pet peeve. Not the eating. How Archie gets so angry about the eating. My pet peeve is if you're in the car with your wife or someone, and all of a sudden they put their feet up on the dash or something.
The feet belong on the floor.
Or they drag their
I have a good one.
We don't allow that, by the way. We don't allow feet on the dash.
There we go. Chevron said that car it kept running to keep oil flowing to the turbo bearings. There you go. That's the mechanical reason for it. And Sob's got a valet story. His Mercedes Roadster was left out in the rain. Fuck.
With the roof down.
I'm just going to go to the toilet. I'll be back in 1 moment, guys. I'll be back.
What's the part of the car when you open the door, like in my Audi at least, on the bottom where your foot kind of crosses from outside to inside? It says like Audi.
The rocker panel. That's the
rocker panel. When people drag their feet over that,
they scratch it.
I'm like, come on, guys.
Diego, my brother just got in the car. I live along like a train line where my brother has to take it further out, and there was some work being done. So the train ended like right where I live. So as a nice guy, I was like, I'll drive you home the rest of the way. It was snowing and all shitty out. And now my brother has like a 2010 Ford Ranger. And you get in this thing, he makes you like dust your feet off and everything. And I swear this is bitterness.
Serious question, guys. Serious question. Do we or do we not fart in the car?
Oh, all the time.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. 100%.
Come on.
Who doesn't like their own cooking?
But Diego, he basically dragged his feet across the rocker panels. Thank God I have rubber mats, or I would have had to slug him in the face. And just literally got salt and like snow all over the side.
How about this? In the back seat, whenever I have like 3 people in the back, it's got that arch between. The center seat has that little arch with the carpet.
Transmission hump.
With the carpet.
I'll tell you something weird about the BMW.
These motherfuckers will leave their feet on there. No, you put it on the side on the rubber mats.
You know the rear vision mirror in the BMW. You know how most cars, the rear vision mirror, you can click it. You can sort of change its angle.
Yep.
The rear vision mirror. The BMW doesn't have that feature.
Huh. But a lot of that feature is so if you have bright headlights behind you,
yes,
to tone it down because you have an asshole behind. So does it automatically tone down the high beam lights behind you?
No, it just doesn't. It doesn't let you just click it. It's just you got to actually move it. But it's got tinting in the back window. Maybe that's why. I don't know.
Oh, the funniest part when we're talking about Beamers is Archie's always yelling about the plastic water pumps in the Beamers, and a lot of times
then he goes and buys one.
I'm watching the stream, and my wife had just gotten an M Sport 330i, exact same car as Archie got, and he's screaming about these plastic water pumps, and she's like, "Will you turn this shit off?" It's getting me all pissed off. And then he literally goes and buys the same exact car. I mean, it's almost identical.
Yeah, we made fun of it because I bought one and he couldn't afford one. He was jealous. Told me that. So he made the whole shtick about the plastic water pump because he was jealous he couldn't get a plastic.
I was wondering why he kept raging about that, because if you
and now he's making a fortune.
Nuance, he brought it out all the time.
And now he's making a fortune. He conveniently forgets.
What does he want?
Now he can afford his own.
Of like brass or something.
I heard, Diego, they do use a plastic sort of compound, but I've heard they're bolted onto the outside of the motor, so they're very easy to replace. That's what I heard.
I was just about to say, when I hear plastic, okay, it's easy to replace, right? It shouldn't cost a fortune.
That's right, as long as you do it the right time. I think they over-engineer them as well. So, no matter what, as long as you don't notice anything, your car will be fine, because they actually would engineer them to last a lot longer than the recommended replacement.
What about girls who use hairspray in a car?
Oh no.
Yeah.
How about this?
And makeup. Applying makeup while they're driving.
Listen to this. So I pick up my brother. I just had my car detailed by myself, so I put a lot of work into this. Pick up my brother from the airport, and my brother's like the exact opposite of me. Grungy, just dirty. We're driving on the interstate, and he's like, "Oh, look at that!" And he's got his fucking hand on the window, pointing at shit. Dude, remember that place?
That's the bitterness I'm talking about, Diego.
God
it's the
damn
little
it,
shit
dude!
you can
I
tell.
just
It's
cleaned
anger.
these fucking windows. Don't touch the windows. What are you doing, Archie?
Yes, tell me the story.
What do you think about your kids? I know your wife probably doesn't, but do your kids touch the inside of the windows when they're pointing at stuff or rest their face on it?
Resting their
You know
face
what?
especially is painful.
My youngest kid is he scratched the fucking tinting in the Civic on his side.
How?
It really pisses me off.
He has braces maybe or something? What did he?
Archie, don't let your kids scratch the tinting, mate. That's a big no-no. I never let my kids scratch the tinting in the car. What's wrong with you, Archie? What's wrong with you, Archie?
I should take the keys to the
My God, don't let him scratch the tinting.
I wouldn't use. I wouldn't. I honestly would not use valet now, Ronnie Paul.
Archie,
No way in the fucking world I'd let any of you guys park my car.
I know, Archie. I only tell these stories to be informative to our men's fellowship we have here.
I can't imagine people.
America
I can't imagine people thinking it's okay to valet park their car. I can't imagine that.
Why does America have a valet culture? We don't have that in Australia.
You know why?
We're lazy.
Because they work on tips, Archie.
I think also it makes people feel empowered.
Rich?
Yeah, like you're at a luxury event. It kind of sets the tone for the place you're going to. But also, I live right outside New York City, so, parking's always a nightmare everywhere you go.
Yeah.
Let me say this to you, right? What happens? Did you ever have customers that says, let me drive it to the spot. I don't want you to fucking park my car.
And the problem is, as a valet parker, at least
insurance.
You can't let them, because insurance, exactly what Diego's
That's
saying.
right.
I've had guys trying to fight you to get their keys, and, if they were tough enough, sometimes I'd let them take it. But, other times you really have to get into it, because you really risk a huge issue. If they fuck up anyone else's cars, insurance will not cover it.
Yeah. I had a guy he came from Germany. I can't remember his name.
Was he good looking, Diego?
No. He was an NBA player. He just came from Germany, and he was playing for the team I lived in.
Yep.
And he was living at this hotel temporarily. He was on an entry contract, so not a lot of money.
What sort of car?
Oh, he had like a shit ass Cadillac SUV. It was disgusting. But he always wanted it to be parked in the front. And this guy was an NBA player, so okay, we'll park. Oh, I'll be down in 20 minutes. Sure. Man, this guy, typically if you want your car parked in the front, it was $50. It was understood. This guy, though, because he's in the NBA, you just do what he says and this and that. He never tipped. I probably left his car in the front 20 times for 5 hours at a time, never once tipped. This guy now plays for the Lakers with LeBron and is like
What's his name, Diego? What's his name?
I can't remember. He's a little short guy from Germany. He's a black guy.
Relatively short, you mean like 6'2" or 3?
Yeah. He's a point guard, I think. God, the name passes me by, but
Dennis Schroeder?
It's not Higgins, is it? It's not Higgins the third.
It was Dennis Schroeder. I parked that guy's car 20 times. He never gave me $1. This guy's worth $300 million now. Yeah.
I gotta look them up.
They're from Europe. They don't
You know what I
understand
would have
that
done,
culture.
Diego? I would have gotten some roaches in a bar of Snickers and thrown it right under his seat.
No, what we ended up doing towards the end was when he would say, "Can you leave my car up front?" We would just say, "Nah, dude." We would just take it down to the 6th floor. We would take it down to the 6th floor in the garage, so that when he wanted his car, it took like fucking 15 minutes to get it, because we were like, "Fuck this guy."
We used to, when we had Fun Valley, I'm telling you, I used to love this job. We used to fuck around so much. We bought crickets. We would get crickets from the pet store and put them in a Ziploc bag. And if people weren't tipping you, we would leave, open up and leave crickets inside the car.
All right.
Just start like laughing.
That's
Oh,
Archie.
Oh man.
All
Let's
the
go.
nasty secrets of valet parking, Archie.
It really is.
Want to valet park your car?
Dude, I want to pick up.
If you see
now.
any college,
I'll tell you what I don't like, Ronnie Paul.
Parkers,
Ronnie Paul, what I don't like is they don't let the engine warm up for 30 seconds. You want to run it 30 seconds to a minute before you drive off.
Yeah, you want preferably
Archie,
have
your
the
tip is
idle
based
needle
how
drop.
quickly you get.
That's
it.
the least of your problems.
Yeah.
Archie, is that in the manual? Is it? Do you have to do? Is that written down in the manual? Is it?
You're not going to do significant damage once or twice a year when you valet, not warming it up. But
Archie,
when
what
they
page on the manual
when
is
they
that,
fuck
where I
the
have to
car
let it
up, that'll
warm up?
damage it.
Archie, what page on the manual? They have to let it warm
Look,
up. Which
what I'm
page?
trying to say is, right, you want to at least warm it up for a minute and then just look. You don't have to warm it up for long. You can press the pedal to the
What
metal
page
after
is it
about
on,
5
man?
minutes.
I'm trying to find it. What page is it on?
You know what I
can't
mean,
find-
Ronnie Paul? How far before you actually put the metal to
I
the?
told you, I start the car, and usually if it's a cold start, the needle will jump above 2,000 RPM.
See, Ronnie, we're in a tropical country, man. It's always hot here, mate.
Once
It's
it
always
settles to about 1900 and it idles steady, then I go.
Archie,
And what
if
I like to
ever
do
take-
too, when I stop the car, I like to turn the aircon off, all the accessories off, and I like to let it sit for about 10 to 20 seconds, just so that it can have a nice flow, and then turn off.
If I ever win the lottery, take another job as a valet. If it's a nice car, Archie, and I'm pulling it, meaning I'm going to get it, I'm going to tell the guy, "Give me a minute. I'm going to let the engine warm up for you." And he's probably going to go, "You know what the fuck you're doing." And I'm going to get a fat $20 tip.
Unless he's drunk and wants to get the hell
What's the
out of
best
there.
cars? What's the best cars you valet? Tell me that.
That's right, Hop.
If
most
it's not a
beautiful
car
car-
guy, he'll be pissed off you're taking too long.
Yeah,
The most beautiful car I ever valeted, just based on aesthetics, feel, interior, was an Audi S5 with the slope back. It was white. It had a cream interior, but the trim was like a teak wood.
Any Rolls Royces? Rolls Royces?
You had a Bentley, remember?
Yeah, I drove a few Ferraris and Maseratis and all that stuff.
How'd you find that?
Very, very stiff.
Well, you only
Yeah.
drove them for 10 kilometers an hour, so
Exactly,
it doesn't. They
exactly.
wouldn't have.
I love the Bentley GT. That was one of the most luxurious cars I feel like I ever drove.
And you got to valet
And-
that?
Yeah, and an S8.
How do you learn
I
how to
also
drive all
valeted
this shit?
Flying spur. You figure it out. You just
Yeah,
you
the
know, you
parking
learn
brake.
on the
The
job.
parking brake on the, I think the Maseratis was very interesting. You have to like it's like on the left side of the driver's seat here in the States, probably the right side in Australia.
But can
Actually,
you
Mrs.
remember
Ly's got a
some cars too?
Maserati.
Some cars too. You actually like in the Ferrari Dino, you've got to actually push it down to get reverse. It won't go into reverse. You've got tricks like you got to. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
In cars like that, the guy usually shows you. Like if there's anything irregular, they'll usually, and their car guys, they'll enjoy talking to you about it.
Mhm.
Or if there's something wrong with the car, typically, like if the clutch is messed up or the brakes, they'll kind of give you the heads up if they're valet
Huh.
park.
Have you ever locked someone's keys in the car?
I'm sure I did, but
It
no
happened-
good
it
story
happened-
comes to mind.
It happened
As
to
a
me
prank-
once. It happened
as
to me
a
once
prank, I have.
on a pure shitter. It was terrible.
What happened?
I just fucking got out of the car, closed the door, and the fucking door was locked. I don't know, but it was terrible.
I
They
mean,
were not
I
happy.
valet parked at clubs too, where you would go into some of these cars. There's like cocaine spread everywhere,
Oh,
or
guns,
there's just like
blunts.
drugs. Yeah, guns.
yeah.
One time there was a dashboard. Someone didn't shut the glove box, and there was a 9mm like hanging out of the dashboard. Oh, I'm telling you, it's a fun job when you're in your early 20s or late teens.
That was good.
Hey, when you guys
By the way, Sov's in the comments there. Sov, I've just worked out my tires on my front are different to the ones on the back.
You didn't know that?
Sov, no, Sov was complaining about his Mercedes. My BMW has the same things. It's got 35s on the front and 40s at the back.
Archie, I was mentioning to the other guys on the panel that the rear vision mirror.
And they're Y rated. What's a Y rated?
That's at the speed, I believe. Right, Ronnie? I feel like you would know.
Yes.
It's either the speed or summer.
That, or probably maybe something to do with, is it to do with the weight of the vehicle too? Because you
Archie, can you click your rear vision mirror so you can dim the headlights from the car behind?
Actually, I wanted to say that, guys. You know what?
Mine doesn't. Mine doesn't.
What you can't? What happens to your vision
Oh, it's
mirror?
tire load rating.
It doesn't have that. It doesn't have that clickable feature. It just has to move.
My
it.
side
Hold up.
mirrors will change depending on the outside lighting.
But you
So
know,
if
the
it's
other thing is,
nighttime-
you know, some cars, you know, the Mercedes. I don't know if you know this. Mercedes.
Maybe it dims automatically. I haven't even thought about that. Maybe it does.
Mercedes had an S class where in the W140s, the mirror, you know, the mirror, you've actually got to adjust it via a joystick or you fuck it up. You know, the the S class from the 90s?
Yeah.
Did you ever know that or not?
I knew it.
How did you know it? How did you know that?
Well, all the stories of people fucking it up.
In the valet world, you mean?
No, just in general.
But if you just adjusted it by hand, you'd break it.
Yeah.
You got to use the joystick.
So, Arch, it's speed rating. So, Y means you could go over 300 kilometers per hour, or you can go up to 300 kilometers per hour in that car. Or for us,
that means
US
they're going to be
guys,
fucking expensive. They're not going to be cheap tires, are they, Ronnie Paul?
Did you get run flats with yours?
Unfortunately, they only come with
Same
run
thing
flat.
with my wife.
What's wrong with run flats? How's it fine? They're great.
I'll tell you right now. My wife, she just got like her fifth. She always gets these 330Is, and every time before. So far, we've been lucky in this one, but they have blowouts. You don't get like a tire leak or something. When those tires go, it's just a complete blowout. Now, the other problem is most tire places you go to, if you do have an issue, they need a special machine to take off run flat tires. It costs like $20,000. So one word to the wise, before you bring your car, if you ever have an issue with your tires, call the tire place first to see if they can change run flat tires.
Otherwise, they'll ruin your wheels, eh?
Yeah.
The other thing about run flats,
Thanks
the
for the
biggest
tip.
thing about run flats is they're not comfortable.
Yeah, they have a shitty ride too, I agree.
That's interesting. That's the one thing a lot of people don't know, that it's not so simple just to throw tires on your car. The other thing has to do with how they balance the tires. So if you put brand new tires on brand new rims, you need to balance the tire. And because I have 20-inch rims on my car, when I was looking for a tire shop to change them out, I had to ask them if they had a Hunter alignment system.
Oh man, yeah,
Because of the tire wheel size, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah, I have 21s. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And
You know, it's
by the
even
way,
worse
where
with
do you get nitrogen, Ronnie? Because I want to get my tires checked just to make sure I still have the same PSI.
So the dealership should be offering that as an option, because that's how mine came. Mine came from the dealership with it. I guess I'll just go by. They should fill it for you for free. You should have a lifetime, because listen to me, if you go to a retailer that does nitrogen, I've heard that some of these pricks will charge you $50 per tire to fill it up.
I've heard that too, and that's why I was asking.
What's the advantage of nitrogen? What's the advantage?
Your tire doesn't swell.
Yeah, so I live up here in Canada where it gets cold.
But what about tropical? Doesn't matter?
Well, no, hold on. So because there's such a great fluctuation up here between hot and cold, it kind of works in my favor, because it doesn't fluctuate. And the other thing is that nitrogen doesn't have the water component in it, so it doesn't eat away at the lining of your rims and stuff like that. Whereas
that actually makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Oxygen would rust out your rims. Now they're aluminum rims, but there might be some components inside that could be impacted.
At the end of the day,
And
water's not
plastic.
great for anything.
Yeah.
It works both ways. So when it's super cold, your PSI goes down, and when it's super hot, your PSI goes up.
I gotta go, but I wanted to say one thing about the alignment.
Good points, guys.
Yes.
What's up?
The one issue I had with the Audi so far, the first about 10, 15,000 miles, I noticed that the steering wheel was never centered. And every time I took it in to get any kind of service, I'd get a courtesy vehicle, typically the same one, and it was perfect. So I think at around 25,000, maybe 30,000, I said, hey, can you guys look at this steering wheel not being centered? And they looked at it, and then I got the car, and it was the same shit. And then I eventually had the tires replaced. And I said, look, when you guys replace those tires, please try to center the wheel because it's a little bit left. Enough to where you could see it visually, let alone feeling it. Got the car 3 or 4 days later, drove it home, turned around the next fucking exit, pulled in, doors open, came in. I was pissed. I was like, they're like, what's going on? I said, you guys didn't fix the steering wheel. And the guy said, oh, what's the problem? I said, the damn car, if I let go of the wheel, it fucking pulls left and it's going to pull me into the wall of the interstate.
Yeah, so it's not aligned.
And he goes, oh, well, that's the pitch of the road. I said, no, because it doesn't matter if I'm in the left lane, the center lane, or the right lane. And he said, well, let's take it out for a spin. I said, yeah, let's take it out for a spin. So he drove it, came back. I don't see an issue. He goes, I'm like, get your damn boss. So the boss came. The boss says, look, son, I don't know how long you've been driving cars, but you will never find a car where the steering wheel is exactly perfect. You will never find a car that doesn't pull one way or the other. It's just something you have to live with.
Wow.
I said, I'm never fucking coming back here again.
Yeah.
I closed the fucking door and I left. And so now I've been going to a different dealer. They fixed the problem. I was hot.
You guys remember
That
the first
shit
MASH
pissed me
movie?
off.
You know the movie MASH?
Yes.
Yeah.
The movie MASH, not the TV series, the movie. Hot Lips is dead.
Yeah, Hot
Really?
Lips is dead. That's right. 83.
From the movie, not the series. Not Loretta Swit, but the
Oh, it's
movie.
not the same one. Is
Sally
it a different-
Kellerman.
Different. Yeah, that's it. Kellerman, yeah. A natural beauty.
Guys, I
show,
got to
too.
wrap this baby up. Thank you for coming. The super
Yeah, I gotta
chats.
go too.
Look, it's been great chatting.
Keep
I think
eating
the
and drinking
moral
in
at
those
the end of
cars,
the day
bros.
is, guys, no eating or drinking in your car. It's
And no
okay for the
scratching the
driver to
tint.
do it.
No scratching
There
tints,
is-
guys. No scratching
There is
tints.
also going to be, I'm going to have a talk to Plastic's wife about this. I'm going to tell her not to get the kids to eat anymore in it. And I've got to tell you guys, seriously, don't trust the valet. See you later.
That is the
All right.
moral.
See ya.
See you guys. Great show.
Take care.
Take it easy, guys.